thunderous game day. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, as the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars set to do battle in Game 4 tonight. Some lineup changes. We'll get to all of that. As always, it's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. And hey, also Lotto 649. You've played it for a while. Maybe you got the same numbers. Could they come through tonight? $56 million, the estimated jackpot. Ooh. Get your tickets for 8:30 tonight at PlayAlberta.ca, where also, of course, the Oilers and the Dallas Stars set to do battle tonight. The Oilers looks like they're going to have 3 lineup changes tonight. Philip Broberg for Desharnais. Corey Perry, Ryan McLeod come in. Warren Fogle and Sam Carrick look like they're coming out based on who stayed out late after the morning skate. That's usually an indicator. Desharnais was out there pushing hard through the paces. So usually that's a pretty good sign the guy's not going to play, right? Like you don't burn your legs out and then play that night. Just doesn't, it doesn't happen. So, we'll see. That's a gutsy move, man. Now, Philip Broberg has played in the playoffs before, 9 games, played last season, and we'll see. This is not an easy decision. It's easy for fans and media to say, "Hey, make the change, come on," because guess what? If it doesn't work, no skin off your back. My job's not on the line. Your job's not on the line. Coach is the one who's got to put his neck out there, shall we say? So we'll see how it plays out. You know what? Putting in Perry and McLeod, to me, and that's not as risky. You've got 14 good forwards. You got guys who you can make an argument why this guy should be in. Like Sam Carrick, there's lots of arguments to make that he should be in the lineup. The coach has his reasoning. They'll look at other things, and we'll see what happens tonight. Guys get in, they got to play well. Oilers are still the favorite tonight, so we'll see if they can get a victory. I would say this is as close to a must-win game as you can get. It's not an elimination game, but man, you go down 3-1, I think we know what happens. We saw last night Florida facing the exact same situation as the Edmonton Oilers. They tie it, then they tie it, then they go up, then the Rangers tie it, then they win it in overtime on a power play. Sam Reinhart, great shot. And, where did that play start? Start in the offensive zone, errant pass by Zibanejad. Turns it over. Barkov gets a breakaway, gets hooked on the breakaway. Probably could have been a penalty shot, but they elect to go for the power play. And the Panthers make them pay. And now that series is knotted up at 2. And Oiler fans, maybe you don't want overtime. Something tells me no, because, hey, in overtime, anything can happen. But the Oiler fans will be loud tonight. It'll be an absolute crazy madhouse tonight for that game. And, guess what? How about this for a good listener? Listener Tim can't go to the game and wants to help us raise some money. So we're going to auction off. We're going to do only till 4:00 because I want people, whoever wins, to have 2.5 hours, a lot of time to get to the game and plan. So how about this? These seats are in lower bowl, section 122. Man, that's just inside the blue line. Are you kidding me? These are great seats. So if you want in, you can call Connor 833-401-1440 or send in a text 833-401-1440. Include your name and your bid. 833-401-1440. Sweet seats tonight. I'm just pulling them up here in the email from Tim to see what row these seats are in, but they're pretty good seats, man. Oof. Let me see. As I know this is great live radio. I should have I memorized the section. I didn't memorize row, but we're going to bid on it. Row 23. There you go. So great seats, man. That's right near the top. Hey, you know what's important about those? At a TV timeout, you have time, because my seats used to be in row 24. At a TV timeout, you can bolt to the washroom, come back, not miss anything because you're right at the top of the section. So it's an advantage. Because trust me, if you wait till the intermission time, now you got to make a choice. Life's all about choices, but you have to choose. Do I get a beverage, wait in line, or do I wait in line at the washroom? Because right now, playoffs, it's hard to do both at once. So 833-401-1440. If you want in, Doug opens it up at 5:50. So we're off and running. Attaboy, Doug. There you go. Ryan's now in at 7:50, and we're rolling. So the lineup changes. We'll get to that. What's your thoughts on it? Looks like it's paired. Now, this isn't 100% confirmed. We should clarify that. But we're basing it on who was out late at practice, which is normally a sign. But Broberg, Perry, McLeod in, Desharnais, Carrick, Fogle come out. And I look at this. Hey, the Oilers got a lot more depth than they've ever had. You can bring guys in where you're not like, oh, my goodness, they're bringing in that guy. Right? Like, hey, they're bringing in Corey Perry. This guy's got a lot of playoff experience. And you know what? You don't need these guys to have a great game every game. Just you have one meaningful game. And then you can switch some other guys in and out. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. You know, like there's lots of candidates that can go in and out. I think there's some guys like tonight, the Draisaitl, Kane, Holloway line, they got to be better. Right? They got to be better. The last two, and I know it's only short, but every series is short. 2 games, no points. They got to be better. Holloway and Kane, they don't have a point yet in the series. You know, Nugent Hopkins has 1 assist. So there's some guys that got to get going. We've talked a lot about defense. You'd like to limit it. I went back and I rewatched the game again. 3 goals. 3. Dallas's first 3 goals of the game on Monday night. The first one, Ruppe hints that puck is about an inch away. Nugent Hopkins doesn't get enough wood on it. If he hits that hard, it's out of the zone. There's no goal. Now they're resetting. They got to wait. Not going to be a goal. Second one, same thing. Ekholm takes a stab at it. Now, he didn't have complete control, but still got it really close, probably about 3 inches from the blue line. Stays in. And then Desharnais on Jamie Benn. Get that one out. Like, none of those plays happen. Like, that's the kill zone, I like to call it. And you coach that for, it's so important. And you don't know when. But, man, when you're within a foot of that blue line, you got to get it out. It's just so vital. So much, like, not as much bad can happen once it's outside the zone. They got to reset. And, hey, maybe they'll reset and come in and score. You never know. But if you get it out and they score in the ensuing play, guess what? They can't score because now the puck's out of the zone. So, we'll see about that. Hey, Gregor, what do you make of the coach scratching Desharnais on his birthday? From Doug. Doug, honestly, I didn't even know that. Desharnais' birthday. Happy birthday to him. I don't, if I'm an NHL head coach, like you remove emotion. They'll make a decision based on what they think's best, not like, well, I think we're going to take him out, but guys, it's his birthday, so we can't. Like, I don't know. You're grown men. You're not, you're not 6 years old where your birthday is like a massive thing. Now, I know some people are big birthday celebrators, so maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm not a huge, like I had a big bash for a birthday a few years ago which was super fun. But, many other years, like, I don't know, like, I can't remember the last time, like, I probably went 15 years yet without a gift, right? Like, well, I guess your gift was your buddies. You go out and you have fun and get buckled, sure. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably the wrong guy to ask about birthdays. Like, I wouldn't even come into the conversation with me. And I don't know, does the coach know every player's birthday? That's a good question. I wonder. They might. Right? Somebody on the team does, but in the regular season, they have things like that. They'll have some joke cakes and everything, but it's playoffs, man. I don't know. Maybe they should, but I would hope that doesn't factor in. Hey, Gregor, what about his parents showing up and your son's a scratch? Well, his parents were here for the other games. Again, this is NHL hockey. This is a job. This is not, well, my parents are here, so I have to play. Right? It's not how it works. Like, I don't want a coach who's now in the regular season, your parents are from Europe and they fly over and you know that. Well, that's maybe a different story. But in the playoffs, no. That should not be part of the equation all for the coach. Right? Like, it's a tough decision to take Vincent Desharnais out. It hasn't been awful. Right? Like, I know that there's some small percentage of people that just feel the need to want to insult play. He's terrible. He sucks. He's the worst. Those are people that honestly, I don't even, the mute button's great. because they don't know how to analyze. They just know how to insult. It's not how you analyze. People are like, oh, Desharnais can't pass. Oh, really? So I went and looked. Guess what? So I was looking at the Oilers' numbers in this series. Vincent Desharnais has completed 69.2% of his outlet passes. If you combine his outlet pass completion percentage and his stretch pass completion percentage, the only guy with a better one on the team amongst defensemen is Matthias Ekholm. Desharnais has completed 80% of his stretch passes. Now, he doesn't take a lot. He doesn't attempt a lot of them, but he's completed 4 or 5. Right? Bouchard and Ekholm, and it is the one stat that kind of surprised me when I looked it up, is both of them are at like under 43% stretch pass completion rate. Ekholm's at like 84 of his outlet pass, but stretch pass, 45. Now, the reason it's lower than Dallas is Dallas, that's a set play, right? They have wingers, and you don't see it on TV as much because the camera angle is zoomed in to the puck area. There'll be the guy off screen. A lot of times you don't even see him. And all of a sudden they're like, well, how the defenseman not see him? Right? Well, because when you watch it in the game, they'll have guys deep. The minute they get the puck, they're kind of cheating and they're blowing the zone. And that's what they're doing. So, Edmonton in game 2, I thought did a really good job against that. Game 3, again, if you go back and watch the first 3 goals of the game, none of them had anything to do with the stretch pass. Right now, the fourth one, there was a stretch pass attempt that wasn't completed, but Dallas ended up having possession. Later on, they score. Edmonton couldn't clear it out. So it got in the zone because of a stretch pass attempt. But that was the only one. So I thought Edmonton, for the most part, did a really good job in game 2, and they're going to have to be aware of it tonight. But the other thing, and I think it's very important, is, I talked to a lot of people are like, oh, the series is over. Oilers, they can't compete. And I politely ask, what series have you watched? If you're going to tell me straight face that the Oilers haven't competed in this series, based on what? So the Edmonton Oilers have led for 61 minutes of the series. It's been tied for 104 minutes. And then Dallas has led for a total of 35 minutes. All right, remember in game 2, Jamie Benn scored. The Oilers tied at 44 seconds later. And then Marchman scored in the third. Edmonton's competing. Edmonton's actually, I would argue, they've blown, 2 really good starts. Game 2 and 3. They don't have a goal in the third period. That's a concern. But to suggest that Edmonton hasn't been competitive in this series, you're delusional. You could not be more wrong if you're stating that the Oilers haven't competed in this series. They've been right in it. They have to find a way tonight in a close game to get the key goal. Now, they did in game 1 when they scored in overtime. But they also led that game too. Right? They were up 2-0. No goals in the first period, came in the second. So holding leads has been an issue for them. Getting a lead, not a problem. So I look at Edmonton, and they should not be panicking. I don't sense any reason for them to panic. They've shown they can go skate for skate with the Stars, and at times they've dominated Dallas. At times, Dallas has dominated Edmonton. No question. But any suggestion that this series isn't close is only coming from someone who's A, is a pessimist, or B, I question their evaluation abilities to suggest this hasn't been a close series. Total goals are 8-7. We remove empty net goals, it's 8-7. It's close. Right? Edmonton's led more than Dallas. Even last game, they led more than the Stars. They have to find a way, maybe to have a little bit more of a killer instinct. In that first period, they were up 2-0. They probably should have been up 3 or 4. They had 2 other really good chances. Didn't bear either one. And then the small details really matter. And tonight for the Oilers, getting pucks out when you have a chance has to be near the top of their list. Cons, anything for you tonight that you say at the top of the list for them?
No, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said, Gregor. Like, just going back and looking at this series, the people that want to say maybe Dallas has controlled it or been the far superior team, I would disagree. That you go back and 2 empty net goals. That's the difference between these being 1-goal games in each of the games. So for the Edmonton Oilers, just maybe stop the bleeding if it happens. Like if the Dallas Stars score once, that's okay. Don't let it snowball and become 2 and 3 goals. That's where it's really going to bury you. That's where it got them last game. Things are going to go wrong. It's not going to be a perfect game. The Dallas Stars are a heck of a hockey team. They showed that coming out of that division, beating the teams they've beaten so far and finishing first in the Western Conference, but just limit it. When things go bad, don't let it snowball. Don't let it take over. Stop it right there and get back to playing your game. Because if the Oilers could have done that in that 3.5 minute span, we're talking about a whole different story going into game 4.
833-401-1440. We'll update you on the tickets, where we're at with those. We'll get Dave and Amber. We got a loaded show for you today. Dave and Amber will be by. Yaremchuk. Sad Yousef will join us, get Dallas's side of things in the 3:20 hour. Mike Rupp, Louie DeBrusk in the 4 o'clock hour. Spec. Also, Colin Chalk. He is now on day 27 that he's been running practices here with the Black Aces. So day 27. For those guys, what do you do as a coach to try to keep things fresh and excited? And we'll get his thoughts on Philip Broberg. Of course, coached him the most games of anybody this year. So busy Wednesday edition of the Gregor Show. Can always text us 833-401-1440 in our inbox.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Hey, Edmonton sports fans, this is Jason Smith from Fox Sports. Weeknights starting at 9. Join me and Mike Harmon as we talk about what happened today in sports and updates on games in play. That's weeknights 9 to midnight on Sports 1440.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its 3rd season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest-growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
When summer brings the heat, McDonald's brings the chill. During summer drink days, enjoy a small iced coffee or a refreshing Coca-Cola for $1 plus tax and step up your summer today. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
The Adventure Calls event is on at Chevrolet. Right now, get the 2024 Silverado 1500 RST at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and available adaptive cruise control, you can get off the open road and just enjoy the calm, quiet, scenic, great outdoors. Back to the truck! Visit your local Chevrolet dealer for details.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber. And now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Uber Eats is now in your area. We've got it all, from your favorite restaurant dishes to groceries and essentials. And get $0 delivery fee on all your orders. What are you waiting for? Try Uber Eats now. Taxes and fees still apply. See app for details.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You got me so I don't know what I'm doing.
$2:23. I love it when people get fired up. Welcome back to the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Oh my goodness. Listen to these millennials and Gen Zers. It's his birthday. You can't take him out. What if his parents are at the game? You can't take him out. Anybody who says that has a trophy case full of participation ribbons from fur balls. Now, I don't have no idea the age group of the texters on it, but I will say birthdays are irrelevant. Parents at the game are irrelevant at this time of year. It's, you know what? You put ego aside. Of course, every player wants to play. Corey Perry, guys played over 200 games, being a healthy scratch for what, 4 games? 5? So, you know what? That's just how it is. And you've got some depth, and you've got guys like you can make arguments for those coming in. You can make arguments for those coming out. I'm not sure there's any clear, obvious separation. I know a lot of people wondering about Darnell Nurse. I'm going to tell you right now, there was 0 chance Nurse was going to get scratched in this game. First of all, last game, he wasn't at fault on either of the goals he was on the ice against for, number one. Coaches will look at those sorts of things. Number two, when you look and say, okay, if he plays his best game, who gives me more, Nurse or Desharnais? And that's, the coach is going to go down swinging with those type of guys. That's just how it is, right? I never thought there was any realistic option that Nurse is going to be healthy scratched. I know people, you remove emotion from it. It was never going to happen. And I'd argue, I probably don't think it should happen. Nurse can play better. Now, would I tell him to stand up at the blue line more and use his speed? Don't be afraid. If someone gets a step on you outside, you can catch anybody. So be aggressive. That's what I would tell him if I was Paul Coffey, and I'm sure Paul Coffey is telling him that. Now, let's go in the room, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated, and proud partner of numerous youth sports teams in the local Edmonton and Spruce Grove area. It's nextgentransportation.com. As a host on Hockey Night in Canada, David Amber joins us. And David, man, it's been a very competitive conference finals, 2-2 in the East, and the Oilers in the exact same position that Florida was in last night. A team that maybe could say, hey, there's been stretches where we could be up 2-1 in this series, but they're not. And now they got a pivotal game tonight. What do you make of what looks to be 3 lineup changes. Perry, McLeod, Broberg in, Desharnais, Carrick, Fogle out.
Well, Jason, first of all, it's nice to be on the station with you, and it's nice to be in your city. It's been great to see Oiler Nation showing out strong. The love for hockey in this city is undeniable, and it's really cool to take in the atmosphere. And I can tell you the first period of that last game was one of the loudest buildings I've ever been in. It was rocking. So let's see if we get back to that tenor tonight, if the Oilers can rebound. But yeah, it was an interesting morning skate. A lot to talk about. You don't often see at this juncture of the season and this juncture of the playoffs, not 1, not 2, but potentially 3 moves by a head coach. One thing I'll say is Chris Knoblauch, a lot of people question and second guessed when he took Skinner out and brought Pickard in and then reinserted Skinner. And it worked out perfectly. So I think we definitely, have seen a coach who's willing to make bold moves. And, I don't know if this is the same level of boldness, but certainly, if the Oilers come out and get blown out tonight, then he's going to be questioned for some of these moves potentially. What do I think about them? I think you're trying to inject some energy. I think you're trying to get some fresh legs. We don't know how beaten down some of the players are. I think you had a really good measured answer there when you're talking about some of the frustration with Darnell Nurse. I think we do have to look at that through a much finer lens, and you can kind of see the game a little bit closer about how he's performing. Can he play better? Sure, he can play better. Is he expected to play better? Absolutely. And I think Chris Knoblauch said as much, but he wasn't going to come out of the lineup. And it does look like it's Desharnais who had a pretty healthy skate this morning. Listen, it's been a tough series for Desharnais in many respects, and he's, maybe he's hit a bit of a wall. And sometimes when you go up and you watch a game, you see it differently, and you get your legs back, and you get your desire, your anger, your frustration back, and you go out and you play a better game. And I think that's what they're hoping for from Fogle, especially. Here's a 20-goal scorer, a guy you are counting on as part of that complementary scoring on a night when, let's say, Draisaitl or RNH or Hyman aren't going. You expect a guy like Fogle to be one of those catalysts, and it's been a struggle for him at times. Albeit he had that great forecheck that led to Henrique's goal in the last game. So you can, as you said, I think you hit it right on the head, Jason. I mean, you can make an argument to insert these players. You can make an argument for the players that are leaving to stay in the lineup or to be taken out of the lineup. There's a lot of different parts there. I think essentially, though, Chris Knoblauch is just trying to inject some energy, get a different feel, a different look, and see if a certain better level of urgency can be there. Not in the first 20 minutes, but after those first 20 minutes to play a full 60-minute game.
Yeah, starts haven't been the Oilers' issue at all. It's finishing, right? They don't have a goal yet in the third period. And sometimes, and this has been a very close series. Edmonton's actually led for 61 minutes of the series, and Dallas has only led for 35. So Edmonton, I don't see any reason to panic. I do think they have to be aware of the stretch pass by Dallas for sure. They've attempted that and they've had some success. Hasn't necessarily led to goals per se, but it's led to Edmonton getting a little discombobulated at times. And, I look at Edmonton is they need to find a way to harness. We all hear about, the other team's going to come back after a bad first period or whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. But there's a difference between absorbing the blows and then having them just knock you down. And I think the Oilers got to be better at kind of leaning on the ropes and absorbing a few body blows rather than getting KO'd like they did 3 times in 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
You got to be able to counterpunch. Absolutely. And you got to be able to defend better. And, Chris Knoblauch, Connor McDavid, they were asked about that. Those little things, those little one-on-one battles. You've got to win some of those one-on-one battles, alleviate some of the pressure in your own end, right? You can't be sitting there. It wasn't that the Oilers were getting beaten in the second period. I mean, they were getting embarrassed in the sense they barely crossed center ice for 14 minutes. And it's funny to me when people are like, well, Darnell Nurse, and yes, Darnell Nurse, like the rest of the team, struggled in that second period, but they didn't have a shot on goal for the first 13 minutes, right? Like, that's not Darnell Nurse. You got to get the puck out of your end, and then you've got to essentially provide some offense. This is one of the highest scoring teams in the National Hockey League, one of the most explosive offenses. So, yeah, I was really, you used the boxing analogy, and yeah, they needed to do some counter punching. They were just receiving, and they were on defense the entire second period until they got that power play, and then they grabbed back a little bit of momentum. And that's another part of it, right? We're not talking maybe as much as we should about the power play and what is happening there. And you're going to go through these types of lulls, but that was such a huge weapon, especially in that LA series. I mean, that was the difference. LA was okay 5-on-5, but got just absolutely buried every time they took a penalty. Dallas is a very structured team, a very disciplined team, a veteran team. They play whistle to whistle. They stay within the lines. They don't take penalties. But when you get a power play, you're not always going to score. That's not how it works, but it has to create some momentum for your team. That's the most important thing if you're not going to score. And, you know, the Oilers now in the last 6 games, 1 for 15 with the man advantage. That's got to be a weapon for them moving forward, because I think, you know, again, Dallas is so disciplined and so good. And 5-on-5, these teams are absolutely even. And if anything, you might even give the benefit of the doubt to Dallas, because they don't rely on their special teams, certainly not their power play the way the Oilers do. So the Oilers, when they do get those advantages, in my opinion, really have to make some hay with those power play opportunities, despite how few they are.
David Amber joins us. Yeah, the big thing for the Oilers power play, I think the injury to Draisaitl's left finger has impacted his faceoffs in this series so far. He's 3 out of 7 on faceoffs. Seguins and Banner have yet to lose a faceoff shorthanded. They're combined 3-0. And Edmonton, you win the faceoff, then they just dominate because they eventually get more zone time. And when you don't win the faceoff, now you're wasting 30 seconds. And there's a few times Dallas did a good job of stopping the entry back in. And I think that's been a big difference for Edmonton's power play here. They're not getting a lot of them, but they're not spending nearly as much time in the offensive zone because they're not winning faceoff.
I think that's a great point, and Connor McDavid made that point about how good and aggressive Dallas is on the PK. And you're right. If it starts at the faceoff, they're dumping it out, and then you've got to set up, and they're being so aggressive and not allowing the easy entry. Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, they're the instant entry. I mean, that's just who they are. But you saw Dallas did a real number on McKinnon last series, and you know they're just so good and so deep, and they defend so well as a unit. Even when it's 5-on-4, that it make life difficult for you. If you win the draw and you can set up, that's a different thing. The other thing I want to see happen is Evan Bouchard. We see that he is such an incredible offensive weapon. They've done such a great job. I mean, that pickup of Chris Tanev, you know, Jim Nill did a great job getting Tanev at the deadline there, because he just gets a stick and gets, more importantly, a body in the lane, leads all players in block shots. You saw the old kick save and a beauty last game. He's just so good at working in tandem with Jake Ottinger and not giving the shooter much of anything. I think Bouchard had 10, 11 attempts last game, and I think he had 2 or 3 shots on net. So they're just not letting get a lot through. So the Oilers are going to have to make some adjustments, find some way to get some more pucks, more bodies on net. That's something we haven't seen as much. You know, Zach Hyman hasn't been right there in Ottinger's grill the way he has in previous series. Maybe with Corey Perry in there tonight, if that's what ends up happening, maybe that's the reason he's being put in there. Get him off his game, get in his face, get him thinking about other things, because we see when Jake Ottinger can see the puck, he's going to stop the puck.
Very true. David Amber joins us here on Sports 1440. The Stars making one change. Radek faxes in. Craig Smith comes out. And Smith's been very physical for them. And so, maybe lose a little bit of that. I'm sure it's a huge change. But, the big addition for them was Ruppe Hintz. It was almost like they got 2 players, because Ruppe Hintz came back, and that added a big injection into Jason Robertson.
Yeah, and we said that in our pregame show. Often the strength of a line is there's a tandem and they work so well together. There's chemistry, and we've seen those 2 players work exceptionally well in the last few years alongside Joe Pavelski. And I know Joe Pavelski struggled so far in the postseason. He's the oldest player left in the Stanley Cup playoffs at 39 years, almost 40 years old. So the young guys have to pick up the slack. And, Robertson hadn't scored in 10 games. And then Hintz comes back in. He's a guy who brings in transition. You'd mentioned sort of the weak side winger exploding up the boards to try and open up some ice and make for easier exits for Dallas. That has been a big part of their success of getting out of their zone and getting on the attack. They only had 3 rush chances in the first 2 games without Hintz. They had 7 rush chances in the first 2 periods with him. So it changes the whole dynamic of this Dallas team. And Robertson, it's like a lot of goal scorers. They go 3, 4, 5, 6, in his case, 10 games. They don't score. And then they finally get a goal. And you know what? That's it. They're feeling it. We used to see this with Phil Kessel all the time. Go quiet for a long stretch of time, and you'd go, that's it. He's done. The career's over. And then in a 10-game stretch, he scored 17 goals or something. And Jason Robertson's that kind of guy. And that's something to make the Oilers a little bit nervous, because if Jason Robertson's going and Rupp is going, that's trouble, because those guys are sort of the catalyst offensively for a very deep and good Dallas team.
Well, one last one for you. You look at the Oilers' top line dominated in the first period, but then they were on 2 goals in consecutive shifts in the second period. And I think really that's kind of been Edmonton's issue, was just the small details. They couldn't get the puck out. And essentially on 3 of Dallas's first 3 goals, the puck was within 6 inches of getting out, and it never got out either time. And so to me, that's what I look for tonight. And that matchup against that Hintz-Robertson line, Oilers just got to be more aware defensively against them on the small details.
I agree 100%. The other thing I would say is sometimes you just got to live to see another day. There is no harm, you want to win the faceoffs, but there's no harm in icing the puck and alleviate the pressure. Sometimes you're trying to make that cross seam pass. You're trying to make that perfect exit out of your zone, and it's not there for you. I haven't seen a team really this season better sticks in lanes than the Dallas Stars. This is why they don't take penalties. They're not having to go and upend a guy. They're just, their bodies and their sticks are in the right passing lanes. They have a very high IQ team. They have one of the most veteran teams in the league. 11 of their players are over 30 years of age. And they have a very good head coach who's been to the Stanley Cup final with 2 different teams. You cannot make little mistakes against this Dallas team. They will make you pay. There's no harm in going high glass, down the ice, flipping it, alleviating some pressure. I'm not saying that's going to be your MO to play the whole game, but it's situationally. You're up 2-0. They're on the attack early in the second, Jason. And to me, it's like, if you got to take an icing, if you have to just make sure to get it out, as opposed to try and make the pretty play and it's a 50-50 it's getting out, you make the for sure, get the puck out, live to see another day. You have a lead. Let's play with the lead. I think the team's going to play smarter hockey. They're certainly going to play more desperate hockey. One thing we've seen about this Oilers team, and it's been really impressive to see, they're 2-0 when facing elimination. They've trailed now in the last 2 series. This is the first time they've had a losing streak in the Stanley Cup playoffs, having lost 2 in a row. To me, you hate to go and say, well, it's a must win, but just consider this. This year, 9 times we've seen teams go up 3-1 in a series, and they're a perfect 9-0, right? Like, you're not going to want to have to stare down the prospect of beating Dallas 3 times straight. So you're going to have to play a really technically sound game, as you're alluding to. You're going to have to be smart. You have to play with a level of purpose and desperation, kind of like how they came out of the gates in Game 3. That's how you want to see them play, but it's got to be a longer stretch than 20 minutes tonight in Game 4.
David, thanks for this, man. Enjoy the game. We'll see you at the rink.
Yes, sir. Enjoy. We'll see you soon. Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's David Amber from Hockey Night in Canada. Oilers and the Stars. We are about 4 hours and 1 minute away. Ryan has the top bid right now at $750. This is an absolute steal for the tickets tonight. I was looking online. Face value for these tickets are about $620 a seat. So these are row 23, section 122. That's between the blue line and the top of the circles. These are great seats to watch the game. So if you want to go, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Section 122. Oilers Stars. Tonight, Ryan has a top bid at $750. When we return, we're going to hear from Chris Knoblauch coming up in a bit. We got Yaremchuk, also Sad Yousef, giving us Dallas's side of things. They got to be happy. Hey, they're up 2-1 in the series. But I think the Stars know, like, hey, here's as much of a big game it's more important for Edmonton, no question. But if you're the Dallas Stars, you win tonight, man, you got a really good chance to make this a short series. So there's definitely some things on the line. I think there's more urgency in Edmonton. But Dallas also has something pretty important to play for. We'll get to all that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Ennio and Jason are friends.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Except when they talk hockey.
Mm-hmm. Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wheelhawk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wheelhawk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
Mark your calendars for Finning Cat's Inventory Blowout, May 31st to June 1st. Head down to our compact construction branch at 10920 170th Street for clearance prices on new and used equipment. Secure 0% financing and choose from perks like a $500 parts credit, a cat cooler, or Edmonton Elks tickets. Plus, be our guest for a free lunch from 11:30 to 1 on both days. Hurry, these deals last 2 days only. Some exceptions apply.
Elevate your drive with spectacular savings at Windermere Chrysler. Get 10% off the rugged 2024 Ram 1500, the luxurious Grand Cherokee, or the versatile Durango. Thinking bigger? Opt for a heavy-duty truck and enjoy a no-charge diesel upgrade. Or take advantage of no payments for 90 days on select 2024s. Visit us today and explore these offers in our breathtaking new showroom.
The choice is clear.
It's Windermere.
Visit windermeredodge.ca.
You're listening to The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling Jingle auditions take one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready.
Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
We freaking killed it, Nuge.
That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah, well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
The faster we're falling, we're stopping so.
$2:49. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on a busy Wednesday. It's game day. Oilers and the Stars. How pumped are you for the game tonight? Another 6:40 puck drop for the Oilers and the Stars. Broberg is in for Desharnais, and it looks like McLeod and Perry are coming in. Fogle and Carrick will be coming out. Now, I don't know what the lines are going to be. What I guess, McLeod, Henrique, and Brown are a line, and then Janmark, Ryan, and Perry are a line. Very possible. I guess you could play Perry with Henrique and McLeod, but I think Perry works better with a guy like Janmark who can cycle the puck. Like McLeod's not really a cycler. That's not his thing, right? So Brown, a little bit quicker. Maybe it works better with McLeod and Henrique. So we'll see. Find out at the warm-up. We do know the Stars make it one lineup change. Faxa comes in on the fourth line. Craig Smith comes out. As we get, and by the way, Doug's in at 800 bones now for the tickets. 833-401-1440. Section 122. Really good bargain right now. Sweet seats. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership and proud to partner up with Mr. Sweden, Matthias Ekholm, who's a representative of Volvo Cars Edmonton. Hey, Swedes love Volvos, baby. So does Ekholm. Get yours at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com as Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us. Big fan of the milk runs. Big fan of the milk runs, Ty?
Oh, that was honestly like the worst 36 hours. And honestly, like the flights getting canceled and moved, and our feet touched all 4 North American time zones on our way back home on what would be Monday. But the worst was after our flight got canceled, I obviously travel with all the recording equipment and I have to check that. I can't like bring it as a carry-on or whatever. I sat at the baggage carousel for 4 hours because the airline did not know where my recording equipment was. That was the worst part of it all, was just mindlessly sitting there. And every time the little baggage thing, like the gate would open up, I'd be like, here we go, might be my bag. And for 4 hours, it was like, nope, different flight. It was awful.
Ah, wow. I eventually got home. So going to Nashville, man, it's some crazy weather in the U.S. right now. Tornado season in certain places, and it really disrupts everything. The Oilers are hoping to unleash a little bit of terror on the Dallas Stars. They haven't had a problem starting. The Oilers have come out of the gates very well, especially the last 2 games. It's more so that they got to finish. Obviously, Dallas is going to counterpunch at some point. And you know what? I'm fascinated to see how Edmonton not only starts the game, but how do they maintain the game? Because like Dallas is a good team. There's going to be stretches in the game where they're going to be the better team. It's going to happen. Like people that think Edmonton should dominate start to finish, like that doesn't make any sense to me. It's just when Dallas does control the game, Edmonton can't fold like they did in those 3 minutes in game 3.
Yeah, I was chatting with Jason Demers about this. It was last week on my show, and he talked about how the whole idea of like you need to go play a full 60. He was like, no team is ever going to play a complete full 60 minutes, but what you need to do is manage your bad stretches. And I thought that was really good, like especially when you're playing a team like Dallas, who is just so consistent in the way they'll push back and try to get the game back under their control. It's not for the Oilers about dominating for 60 minutes. That's not going to happen. What it is about is making sure your bad stretches aren't that bad. The old cliche of bend, don't break. And for the Oilers, it was just like constant breaking in that 12-minute stretch in the second period. So again, you're never going to be perfect. That's really shouldn't even be the expectation here. But if the Oilers would have just been like mildly bad or average during that 12-minute stretch, they probably survive it up 2-1 or at least in a tie game, not trailing 3-2.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They got to be aware that the Hintz addition to the lineup, obviously he's an upgrade. And then, of course, it seemed to awaken Jason Robertson. And you know what? He's a streaky scorer. And he's obviously going to have a lot of more confidence coming into tonight. And, you know, the Oilers, you know, they're going to need one of their guys because it's interesting. You know, it was really Dallas's. Each line had if you want to say depth line, and Edmonton scored a goal. If we call Jamie Benn a depth line, fine. But the top line was 3-2 in favor of Dallas last game.
Yeah, and also Jamie Benn, I think he's leading this series in points, and he's the only player to record a point in every single one. So, yeah, if he's a depth piece, I mean, it speaks to the strength of Dallas's depth. But I do think another area, and this is something that's a common theme with the Oilers' depth pieces, with their big guns as well. I want to see a bit more of a killer instinct maybe in the offensive zone. Like I was digging up some of the numbers and, you know, just looking at natural stat trick after the game, and you kind of go and it's like, whoa, in the first period, they had 25 Corsi 4 events. That's a lot of pucks or a lot of opportunities where you had a chance and were able to attempt to get a shot off. only 10 of those turned into shots on net. And then you look at the game as a whole at 5-on-5, they had 52 Corsi 4 attempts and only 16 of them actually turned into shots on net. To me, that says you're holding on to the puck too long and you're letting Dallas get in the lanes. They do a good job of blocking shots, but still. And the other thing that tells me is you're not going to the net and you're not getting second opportunities. For only 52 of those to turn into 16 shots, you're not getting rebounds. You're not making life miserable for Jake Ottinger. So I know a lot of the talk after game 3 was about the Oilers' defensive zone play, not getting the puck out, rightfully so. That led to a lot of the goals. But the other side of it, and I think this has been it was a thing in games 1 and 2 as well, they got to have a bit more of a killer instinct in the offensive zone.
Yeah. Finishing is key, right? Like you look at Evander Kane in game 2, right? He had a chance. That should be a goal. Like you saw his reaction right afterwards. He put it into Ottinger's pads rather than sliding it 3 inches to the wide open net. And so, Edmonton, that's why I don't think Edmonton should be panicking. Edmonton has played very well. I think there's been long stretches where they've controlled the series. They have to find a way to bury a few more chances. And I think their power play, hey, when your power play is one of your best attributes all year, it can't just go dormant in the conference final, even on limited chances, and then expect your team to win. They lost 2 games by a goal, and their power play doesn't have a goal in either one. You score 1 goal, then at bare minimum, we're probably in overtime. So, I look at the Oilers' power play needs to find a way, even in limited chances, to get a goal.
Yeah, and I liked in round 1 against LA, power play was obviously unbelievable. And what we saw there were some different looks from the Oilers. Like, remember, there was plays where Draisaitl was in front of the net and McDavid would go to either side of the ice. And granted, he's still doing a bit of that, but they were moving Draisaitl away from his office. They were moving Nuge and Hyman into some maybe more unique spots. The one power play against LA, they had Nuge in the Draisaitl spot. And right now, over this, whatever it is, 1 for 15 stretch, however cold they are, 0 for in this series, it feels like they're just trying the same things over and over again. It's okay, cycle it a little bit, and then try to get a play to Bouchard, try to get Draisaitl. And if it's not those two shooting, it's like they're just trying to force everything else. So the power play absolutely has to be better, and you make a good point. You get 1 power play goal from that unit in either of those games, and you bring it to a coin flip of overtime, and who knows if it would have changed the series.
What do you make of the 3 lineup changes? Broberg, McLeod, and looks like Perry. Those 3 are coming in based on the morning skate and extra work afterwards. Desharnais, Fogle, Carrick are out.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things here that make me a little bit nervous. One, Sam Carrick has the best faceoff percentage on the team, and the Oilers haven't been good in the dots. That's a little bit concerning. Hopefully the faceoffs aren't a problem tonight for the Oilers. I don't mind giving Corey Perry another look in this series. I think at some point you want to roll the dice on seeing if he's got a couple of really good games in him. Taking out Warren Fogle, I think that's pretty warranted. He hasn't scored a goal since his empty netter in game 1 against the LA Kings. So the forward stuff, the Carrick thing makes me a little nervous, but still, you have Derek Ryan down there. He can go win you draws. He's been excellent in this series in that regard, so that's fine. Where I'm nervous on the blue line is like Philip Broberg hasn't played in 40 some odd days. And I know he's skating hard and practicing and he's taking warm-ups and all of that, but he hasn't played in a game in a long time. And that's why maybe I would have gone with the 11-7 approach tonight. I know they haven't done that a ton under Chris Knoblauch, but to me, that felt like the safer play, because let's say Broberg goes in there and I'm not saying I think this is going to happen or this is likely, but let's just say Broberg goes in there and it's clear after the first period, he's overwhelmed. What are you going to do if you're Chris Knoblauch? Run 5 defensemen the rest of the game? Like, that's not exactly a great option. 11-7 would have maybe given you the ability to feel out like, okay, are one of Vinny or Cece feeling it tonight? If they're not, we got Broberg here. We'll slide him in. We'll bench the other guy if they're making mistakes early on in the hockey game. So I maybe would have liked to see 11-7, but with a lot of Chris Knoblauch's kind of tough decisions he's made in these playoffs, even if I don't agree with them, it's pretty easy to see the justification for them, I guess, is how I'll end that.
Yeah, the Carrick one's surprising to me because Derek Ryan at 5-on-5 hasn't done very much. I get that he's wins faceoffs on the penalty kill. There hasn't been. Now, maybe tonight there'll be 5 penalty kills, so we'll see. But, and maybe they didn't want to take out 2 guys who are on their, but Ryan doesn't play, like he wins a faceoff and the minute they get it out, he changes. Like he only played 29 seconds on the penalty kill last game, right? Like he comes out for the faceoff and then if they're changing on the fly, he doesn't come back out. So, I thought Carrick could have stayed in for that. Draisaitl's finger is obviously impacting his faceoff percentage. We're seeing it specifically on the power play. So I think Edmonton's going to have to try to win draws differently on the power play. Maybe not just win it clean. Maybe just say, guys, I'm just going to tie him up. You come in and get it.
Yeah, I think so. I was looking at the numbers. I forget the exact percent, but Draisaitl in the offensive zone in this series is around like 32% in the dot. Like, that is really not good. And you talked about the struggles on the power play. How big of a part is the fact that they aren't winning that first faceoff all that often with Leon Draisaitl. So definitely need to be better in that area. You mentioned the finger. I wonder if maybe, do we see Connor McDavid's a little bit better in the faceoff dot percentage wise? I know that stat's kind of flawed or whatever, but McDavid's percentage is a bit better than Draisaitl's. Maybe you see Connor start to take a few more draws off the power play. I did notice there was a shift. It would have been the left side and in the neutral zone, but Evander Kane took the draw over Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Maybe you start seeing Evander Kane take the left side draws over Leon Draisaitl at 5-on-5. I honestly don't know what the solution is, but they got to be better in the dots.
Yeah, Jamie Benn's been really good. So it's one of them. It's on the power play. The Oilers' power play thrives when they have more time in the offensive zone. They make a big change. Also, Dallas, I'll give them credit. Dallas is the first team that has given any sort of trouble on zone entries. We saw it. Edmonton's had to regroup more than usually. Usually they come in and it's almost just super easy for them. They make it look easy because it isn't easy. Because I watched a lot of the other teams around the league, and zone entries on the man advantage aren't as easy as Edmonton makes them look. And so I give Dallas credit, but Edmonton's power play, the thing is they're so dangerous. They could go 2 for 2 tonight. No one will be surprised. But it is a matter of, when people say power plays don't matter, I've yelled and screamed for years. Go look at the teams who win. Vegas last year in the Stanley Cup final, 6 power play goals, Florida none. It matters. Tampa Bay was 30% and 28% when they won. So the Oilers' power play percentage still overall is good, but it's 0 in this series, and it's going to have to get going.
Yeah, and if it can be at 40 or 50% for the back half, then yeah, it's going to be massive. They don't, if you score on the power play, it's not half a goal. It's a full goal, and some people like to discount it and throw out the 5v5 numbers. And I mean, in the microcosm of one playoff game where every moment's so important, we touched on it. Getting a big goal from the power play is massive. And even last game, like, you're up 2-0 and you get that power play. And it's like, okay, can you make it 3-0 here? Like, put the pedal down, foot to the throat kind of thing. And it was a missed opportunity for them. So that's been really disappointing. And again, all this kind of loops together of like power play struggling, not dangerous enough in the offensive zone. And I know, again, a lot of people talk about the D zone errors. It's absolutely a factor, but this is an Oilers team with 2 of the best offensive players in the NHL, the best offensive player and another guy that wherever you want to rank him, point is he's really damn good. There's no reason why they can't have a game here, regardless of who's in net. But they pop home 5 goals and win a game 5-4. Like, at some point, score some goals. Let's go. You're the Oilers.
What defense pairs are you expecting tonight?
I think I'm expecting Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Ceci, Kulak, Broberg. What I would like to see, I think, is Kulak on his offside with Darnell Nurse. And I know maybe Broberg and Ceci would leave you wincing a little bit, but with what we've seen from Nurse and Ceci in this playoffs, that would also leave me wincing a little bit. So I think I would trust Kulak more to be flipped over to his offside, and I think maybe having a bit of a steadying presence in Brett Kulak, maybe that allows Darnell Nurse to find his game a bit.
Yeah, I thought about that. The only issue is Kulak hasn't played the right side pretty much all year. So I don't know. Like, Broberg, I know is going to go in and play the right side, but he's played there lots, right? So I could see the argument for it, but I could see why a coach is going to say, hey, so I'm going to make essentially 2 changes on my blue line. I don't think so. So you know what? They'll challenge those guys and just say, hey, Darnell, be more aggressive. Stand up more at the blue line. Use your speed to your advantage. If someone takes you outside, fine. Because there's no defenseman arguably better in the league at recovery speed than Nurse. So don't worry if a guy gets a half a step on you to blue line. Majority of the time, you can catch him. Like, rarely do we see Darnell Nurse get blown by on the outside. Right? Doesn't happen. That's not where he makes mistakes. Where he makes mistakes is what we saw lots of in game 2, where he's just backing in. So to me, if I'm Paul Coffey, I'm just showing him all the videos of every time someone tries to beat you wide, say, see, Darnell, no one can beat you here. There's no reason for you to be fearful of standing up.
Yeah, I had this kind of back and forth with my co-host Liam today, and he's big. He goes, we want simple Darnell Nurse. Just go out there and make the simple plays. And I argued against that. I was like, no, Darnell Nurse is at his best when he's actually like trying to make plays, not just going out there and trying to survive. I love when he's transporting the puck with his feet. I love when he jumps up in the rush. There's been times throughout the regular season where he's jumping up in the rush on a penalty kill, and we haven't seen really any of that from Nurse as he's been struggling over these last few nights. So I don't want him to play simple at all. I agree with you. I want him stepping up at the blue line. I want him using his speed to his advantage. I want him to go out there and try to make an impact in the game and not just go out there playing scared that the next mistake's going to end up in the back of your net. Go attack him if you're Darnell Nurse. Also, I mean, we're not going to see this, but the old school hockey brain in me would love to see him just go out there, hammer someone early. If you got to drop the gloves with Jamie Benn or whoever wants to drop the gloves with you, do it. Get the crowd feeling, get the crowd back on your side a little bit. I mean, we saw him today. He knows the criticism that's come his way, and I understand it's deserved, but go out there and get the crowd on your side. Drop the mitts, get everyone fired up and yelling for you a little bit. Why not?
Well, if it's him and Jamie Benn, I would love it. That'd be a hell of a
good trade, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Ty, enjoy it, man. Should be a lot of fun. Appreciate the time.
Yep, enjoy the game, Greg. Thanks.
There you go. That is Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Not that physical a series. I doubt it would happen, but it would be good, right? Like there's guys who play similar amount of minutes in Ben and Nurse. Probably won't happen, but it'd be fun. Maybe Marchment, right? Get in there, get some energy going. But everybody has different ways sometimes to get focused, get in the game. Something to consider, or at least, hey, run a guy. Get Dallas to have to react. Like, I'd like to see Evander Kane. Evander Kane, he'll never shy away. Like Zadorov, big, huge human, he didn't care. But I'd like to see Kane be an initiator tonight physically. Be chirping guys. Get in their face. Get in the grill of Dallas. Try to intimidate them. Like, Kane is clear that no one can intimidate him. He stands up to anybody. He's not scared. We've seen that. He'll fight Reeves. He does it all the time. But maybe tonight he can be the initiator of the intimidation. We'll see. Quick break coming up. We'll get Dallas's side of things. Later on, we got Louie DeBrusk joining us. Also on the show today, Mike Rupp and Colin Chalk. Today is day 27 for the Black Aces since the playoffs began, running practice and everything. So we'll talk to Chalk about that. But also an in-depth look at Philip Broberg's game. Coach knows him well. What should we expect from Mr. Broberg tonight? We'll get the coaching report from Chalk coming up at 5:20. We're up to 850 on the tickets from Nielsen. 833-401-1440. We'll update you on that. After the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. You can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks right now at your Alberta GMC dealers.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers hosting the Dallas Stars down at Rogers Place. Game 4, puck drop just after 6:30. And, of course, the Stars lead this series 2-1. In the association, it's an off day, of course. Tomorrow, you got the Timberwolves taking on the Mavericks. In the majors, the Blue Jays, they're in action taking on the White Sox once again. First pitch set for 5:40. In that one, Alec Manoah gets the call for the Blue Jays. A busy afternoon right now. You got the Diamondbacks trailing the Rangers 6-0 heading into the ninth. The Pirates up on the Tigers 4-1. Phillies lead the Giants 2-0. Dodgers on top of the Mets by that same score. And the Marlins lead the Padres also 2-0. Later tonight, Orioles host the Red Sox. Athletics take on the Rays. Braves host the Nationals. Cubbies in Milwaukee. Twins taking on the Royals. Got the Guardians in Denver. Angels host the Yankees, and the Astros take on the Mariners. Game 1 other doubleheader earlier on today. The Tigers blanked the Pirates 8-0. One other final had the Cards knocking up the Reds 5-3. Game 5 in the PWHL Championship Series as Boston meets Minnesota. Winner will be league champion. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock. And at the Memorial Cup, we've got Saginaw taking on London. Winner of this one advancing to the final on Sunday. The loser takes on Moose Jaw in the semifinal on Friday. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Dallas Stars beat reporter Sad Yousef. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online.
There's no reason
at
for you to be
volvocarsedmonton.com
fearful.
or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. The playoffs sing along. You know the word.
223.
Enio and Jason are friends.
Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds, recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Enjoy the game, Greg. Thanks.
For over 65 years, Dedham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And that tradition continues with the all-new 2024 F-150. Lease one today with $1,000 down and pay just $299 bi-weekly, taxes included. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. The F-150 $299 driveway lease, only at Dedham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at dedhamford.ca.
Debt. Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Hey everyone, it's Brent Fullerton from Carefree RV. In recent years, we have seen a huge shift towards first-time buyers in our showroom. This has left us with a major shortage of trade-ins and used product on our lot. We are currently in need of quality used RVs. If you would like to sell or consign your RV, please call or text us at 780-438-2008 or visit us at carefreerv.ca.
There's nothing worse. Family's all excited to hit the highway and suddenly you remember, I forgot to replace that broken tail light. No worries. We've got you covered here at Vision RV. Hi, it's Larry Ricci reminding you that we have the parts and accessories you need in stock always. And if we don't have it, we'll get it for you ASAP. From tail lights to RV toilet paper. Oh no, I forgot that too. It's all here. Don't wait till the last minute. See us today at Vision RV, just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Here it is, the groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the monotony of.
Just after 3 o'clock. Ooh, about 3.5 hours from puck drop tonight. The Oilers and the Stars. Oh, how many of you can't wait for the game? That's what you love about the playoffs, man. The anticipation. It just builds. You're fired up. Probably texting, hey, what are we having for food? We ordering in? We ordering out? What's going on? You having a viewing party with your friends or going out somewhere? Maybe you're going to the game. Oh, just something about playoffs, man. Gets everybody fired up. It's awesome. And big game tonight. Just, a little bit of nervous excitement. Some of you I know. There's the Pacers. There's the people who will watch for a bit and they can't handle it. That's fine. Everybody has their own different strategy on how to watch the game. We have a few who just, they're like, Doug, hey guys, my wife, true story, she'll watch from around the corner and hear and then just peek around when it gets close. It's comical. She can't handle it watching it, but she can't handle not listening to it. Oh, that's fair. Right? Everybody has their own views. It's fun. But think about how pumped up you get when they win or score a goal, and then how frustrated you get when they lose or give up a goal. It's a roller coaster of emotion. And Oilers fans are hoping it extends another few weeks. Really, could be almost a full month if it went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Like the most stretched out Cup Final I've ever seen. Yeah. Starts on the 8th and ends on the 24th if it goes 7 games. Brutal. Anyway, welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, if you've been on the fence wondering, and you know what? Or maybe you play all the time, but you haven't used the promo code Gregor50. Try it out today at PlayAlberta.ca. Minimum $5 deposit, and you will use the promo code Gregor50. You'll get a $50 free bet at PlayAlberta.ca. Oilers, by the way, are a slight favorite tonight on home ice. If you want, could they win by a goal and a half? Well, then you get a lot better odds. But the last 2 games have been that way due to empty netters. Basically being a 1-goal game every game, except for the empty netters. But hey, empty netters count if you're picking a plus 1.5. So do it there at PlayAlberta.ca. Now, the Edmonton Oilers, we got to get to this because I think it's pretty big. This, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be the most lineup changes for one game in the postseason for the Edmonton Oilers. As we get to the lineup report, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, your one-stop shop for everything you need, from fishing rods and reels, tackle, boats, accessories, to motorcycle gear, water sports, and more. Find more at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The Dallas Stars will start there. They are going to have one lineup change tonight that comes in on their fourth line as Radek Faksa draws back in. Craig Smith is coming out. You'll have Robertson, Rupe Hinson, Seguin, Duchesne, Pavelski, and Marchment, Wyatt Johnson, Stankoven, and Ben. And then, the pride of our Drawson, Sam Steele, with Faksa. And looks like Ty Dellandra might be also in tonight. Well, we'll double check that one. I'm not 100% sure on that one. We'll see if Daly. I don't know about that. Meanwhile, on the back end, no changes. As, of course, Hakanpää is still hurt. So they will run Heiskanen and Harley, Lindell and Tanev, and Alex Petrovic and Ryan Suter. Jake Ottinger, of course, gets the start in goal. The Edmonton Oilers, they got 3 lineup changes. Now, the lines, we don't know for sure because they didn't run the lines, but McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman makes sense to have them. Then you would have Draisaitl with Kane and Holloway. You have Henrique with Brown and Ryan McLeod. And then Derek Ryan, Corey Perry, Matthias Janmark. That would be my guess, right? Like, I know Corey Perry comes back in, but like, am I going to play Perry? Like, I don't know, man. Like, Henrique's a decent cycler, but I think Janmark's the best other cycler amongst the bottom 6 forwards. So play to Corey Perry's strength. He didn't work with McLeod and Fogle because those guys, their forte is not cycling the puck. So I guess you could play him with Brown and Henrique, but I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. It's two right wingers, so I wouldn't do that. I'd have Brown and Perry as my right wingers. Now, Henrique or McLeod, who's going to play center? I'm not sure it matters a ton because, as Adam Henrique said, when you're playing with another centerman, a lot of times now you got 2 guys that are centers. They'll kind of switch sometimes on the defensive responsibilities down low because it's a little less taxing. Right? If you do it one shift and the other guy does it the other shift, you're both comfortable. There's benefits to McLeod on the wing. If you get the turnover and you get the puck up, his speed, he's higher up the ice. You know what? He's a lot quicker than Henrique. So we'll see what they do. But if it's me, I would, Fogle, Henrique, and Brown, I thought they were okay. I would just put McLeod there. And I would put Perry with Ryan and Janmark. Derek Ryan, you look at his minutes 5-on-5, he's not playing a lot. I won't be surprised if you see Draisaitl, McDavid get a shift here and there with Janmark and Perry. So that's something I'll be watching for tonight. On the back end, Bouchard and Ekholm, Nurse and Ceci would be my guess. And then Philip Broberg comes in and he'll play with Brett Kulak Broberg, of course, this would be his 11th playoff game. He played one in 2022, didn't play a lot. That was like Dylan Holloway. I think they both played 3 minutes in that game. Last year, he did get into 9 games. Again, didn't play a ton of minutes. I think he had 3 games where he was close to 10 minutes, like 9:58, 9:45, stuff like that. They're playing 7 defensemen. But Broberg, he'll play more tonight. We'll get an in-depth scouting report from his coach in Bakersfield, Colin Chalk, joining us today at 5:20. So those are the defense pairs. We think anyway. I know some people have asked, hey, would you put Kulak with Nurse? Kulak really hasn't played the right side. So that's why I would guess no. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to go off of usage. And I know people like, CC's being brutal. CC's numbers actually in the last 6 games are pretty decent. Right? He's got, he's played all right. I think he's been on the ice for one goal against 5-on-5 in those 6 games. Nothing wrong with that. So I could see him starting with Nurse. So we'll see. He's actually been on for 2 for CC, which is the fewest of any Oilers defenseman, and he's played the second most minutes. So that I don't see CC being in the third pair tonight. So I think him and Nurse, those guys, that's what I expect. Now, Brett Kulak, we'll see where he goes. I think it's more likely maybe Kulak and CC rather than Kulak and Nurse. I don't know. I don't think tonight's the night to ask Brett Kulak to play the right side when I can't remember. Has he ever lined up on the right side in Edmonton in a game? I don't think he has. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't played a few shifts because I know the Oilers, when they make their changes sometimes, right, you'll have 2 lefties out there because the one guy, if it's on the far shift, whatever, so he'll play the right side for a short period of time. But he hasn't played there regularly. So I wouldn't ask him to do that tonight if I was the head coach.
No, good depth on this Dallas Stars team. I think you just want to have guys as much as possible in positions where they're comfortable.
Yes, for sure.
And I mean, hey, playoff Kulak. Can't mess with that.
Yeah, he hasn't been really good in the playoffs. Every year for the Oilers.
Every year.
Since they acquired him.
He flies out there, so he just turns it up.
Now, he the one interesting stat about Kulak that surprised me was his low completion percentage on outlet passes through the first 3 games for the Edmonton Oilers. Amongst the 6 defensemen, he was the only one under 65% at 56. I was surprised by that. So we'll see tonight. But I'm also very intrigued to see what Philip Broberg's going to bring. Hey guys, who's taking Desharnais' spot in the first unit penalty kill? Broberg? Good question. I'm going to say no. I would think it would be Kulak first. Right? Kulak's being the guy when there's a penalty to one of their top 4 defensemen, he's the guy in the penalty kill. Now, what they might do is they might put CC with Ekholm and then put Nurse and Kulak as the second one. We'll see what they do there. But so yeah, I'm going to guess it's cool. Now, if one of Kulak, Nurse, Ekholm, or CC take a penalty, then is it going to be Bouchard or Broberg? Good question. They really haven't used Bouchard a lot in the postseason. They could. He was, I think he actually killed more than Kulak at times in the regular season. Right? But now Broberg killed a lot in the American League. And I think I got to double pull up the stats, but I thought he was on the PK a bit when he played those games late in the year. Now I know they were nothing games. I understand it, but it's about the timing factor. So I would guess maybe Bouchard because he's at least been in the games watching and seeing what they do. Like the reason the Oilers penalty kill is being so successful right now is they work incredibly well as a unit, anticipating if one guy goes, the other guys go. Right? There's not a lot of hesitation, and we're like, well, what's he doing? What am I doing? They're going. So I'm going to guess it's going to be Kulak because he's been a guy who's been involved in the PK here lately. Just when they take a guy out or you get him a few shifts here or there.
Broberg played 90 seconds on the PK in their loss to Colorado.
Okay. Minute. Okay. So a little bit. Now, obviously, that's April 17th and 18th, so it's been a while. But I'm telling you, man, Broberg is getting up for this game. Like Adam Henrique said, he goes, getting up for the game isn't the problem. He says it's trying to calm yourself. Like the crowd's going crazy. It's the NHL playoffs, man. You're in the conference final. I don't think Broberg will be overwhelmed by the moment at all. But I do think like the first few shifts, you're probably going to have to slow his heart rate down. That's just normal. Like you can tell yourself all you want. Okay, don't get excited. Like how many of you have been in a situation where geez, I got to stay calm here leading up to it, whatever it is. And then when you get to that moment, all of a sudden it's like, whoo, a little bit more excited. I get it. How can you not? So. Hey, guys, makes 0 sense putting Broberg in unless Vinny is too injured to play. When Knoblauch gets fired in 2.5 years, inevitably you can look back to this. Really? If he gets fired in 2.5 years, I don't know if it would be because of a coaching decision on May 29th, 2024. Unless he really irked. Because first of all, the guy who might be the GM in 2.5 years probably isn't even here right now. So he might not even know about this game. So I don't think so. We'll see. One last one. Hey guys, do you think the matchup should change at all? The Draisaitl line hasn't been able to do much. What would you do if you're Knoblauch to get them going? Well, keep in mind, Evander Kane had a glorious chance he didn't bury. If he buries that chance, again, we're probably talking something different. Just like, I know ifs, but it is true. Like, it's a fine line. If McDavid or Nugent Hopkins, they each had a really good chance when it was 2-0. If they bury it, maybe we're talking total different game. What if Desharnais, 9:35 into the third period when he rung that one off the post? Ottinger didn't even see it. If it's an inch to the right, that's barn in. And the Oilers have a lead and their first goal of the third period. And you know what's funny? I bet you if he scores there and the Oilers win, he doesn't come out of the lineup. And that's kind of how finicky it is right now. Rightly or wrongly, that's, it can change quickly. So, matchups, the matchups are what they are here. Dallas, I'd have to look at Draisaitl's numbers to see if he played heavy minutes versus one specific line last game. But if you're going to get 3 minutes versus this line and 4 minutes versus that line and 4, I don't think Knoblauch's going to try to chase one. I think Kane, Holloway, and Draisaitl are more than capable of generating some offense. They just need to do it. The one thing I'd like to see from Kane is him maybe initiate more of the intimidation factor tonight. That's the one thing. If I looked at his overall game that I think he could bring more of, that would be it. When we come back, the Stars, they obviously got to be pretty happy. They're up 2-1 in the series. They got a minor change on their fourth line. Is it status quo for the Stars, or I don't know if they can play with fire and expect to just get crushed every first period and think they're going to win. So we'll talk about how they can start better next with Saad Yousef joining us here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can text us. Ryan's up to 900 on the tickets, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox.
Hi, Brad McCory here. It's May, and that means it's time for our biggest sale of the year. We're practically giving away. Take our 2023 Ram 1500 Classic that was $59,000. Now, just $44,000. Yes, we're giving with savings up to $15,000 and an available 0% financing for 60 months on our new 2024 Ram 1500 Sports. We really are giving away. Hey, why do you keep bleeping me? I was just saying we were giving trucks away during our biggest sale of the year. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
Hey Leduc, it's me, Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy. What you might not know is that I started practicing physio here in Leduc more than 23 years ago. In those years since, I haven't forgotten the kind and welcoming people that trusted me then. It feels great to be back, but I know we have to live up to our promise, and that's to live up to our name. This means bringing a leading edge focus on our environments, technology, communities, and the people who will care for you, like Graham Raymond and Amanda McIsaac, two locals who want to make a difference in your life. We're now open in Leduc. Learn more about us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Mr. Ruther does a TED Talk.
Thank you for coming today. Let's talk about it. Pressure. Everyone in this room feels pressure. But let me tell you something about pressure. I'd rather feel too much pressure than not enough. You know why? Because low pressure often means you have corroded pipes, impaired water lines, or a calcified shower head. And who needs that? I'm Mr. Ruther, and this has been my TED Talk.
For an inspirational plumber, call Mr. Ruther.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word.
Oodle Noodle time.
Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance.
Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
$327. It is game day on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Everybody's fired up. How many of you are like Andrew? I like this. Hey, guys, I know it's out to lunch, but the Oilers haven't lost when I park alone in this certain parking lot and watch the game in my car. I'll be there tonight. Hey, man, you got to do what you feel's right. You're not superstitious. You're just a little stitious. I get it. Hey, you're like Michael Scott. It's understandable. Who wouldn't want to be? God, I was at the dentist this morning. They had The Office on Netflix. So I'm like, I was just like, no, keep cleaning. It looks great. Everything's great. I was watching some of season 2 and oh my goodness. Absolutely classic when Michael has the sales call with Jan at Chili's. And he basically just, diverts and talks about everything else. And then eventually he gets a client and Jan's like, oh my God, you're a genius. Then, of course, they hook up. And then now, of course, Michael's in love. And she's like, it was a big mistake. Oh, God, so good. And then they have his script that they read and everybody's role playing. And then Dwight realizes that in this script, it's all about him being a buffoon. He doesn't like it. Oh, man. Oh, so funny. And then there was the one where Michael and Dwight fought. Remember, he's on top of him. And anybody who has an older sibling probably can remember this at one point in your life. You're wrestling with your sibling. How many times were they sitting, they might pin you down and they threaten that they're going to spit. Like, they kind of let the spit come down, then they suck it back up. Open your mouth. Oh, I'm not saying it's a wise thing, but most siblings at some point, Connor, they've tormented their other sibling. It's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, rite of passage. Has to happen.
Mm-hmm. Did yours ever pin you down, threaten to spit on you?
No. I had an older sister. I was always much stronger, so not a problem.
You didn't? Did you do it to her? What about your younger sister?
No. I was actually pretty good to my younger sister.
Oh,
She'll vouch for that too. I wasn't much of a bully.
okay, well, that's good. Nice. Now, let's get inside the visitor room, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take savings right now at a 10-year interest-free loan from the federal government. They will help you out. Action Electrical, get you set up if you want solar on your business or your residence. Save you a lot of cash. ActionElectrical.net. As we are joined by Saad Yousef, beat reporter for the Dallas Stars, writes at The Athletic. And Saad, this is, it's been a very entertaining series. The Stars, they do make a minor change on their fourth line tonight, but, the Rupp Hintz addition last game paid off huge dividends, not only for him, but Jason Robertson, and it just seemed to jumpstart Robertson, who scored his first goal, turned out to be a hat trick, and was his first goal in 11 games.
Yeah, I mean, having Rupp Hintz is huge for Jason Robertson. This is something that, we've talked about before, just in terms of, Robertson, when he broke into the NHL in 2021, Rupp Hintz had already kind of established himself as a pretty good NHL player. He was still building up to his star status, but he was really good. And Robertson played with Rupp Hintz beginning in like the 25th or 26th game that year. So Robertson has virtually played his entire career with Rupp Hintz as his centerman. So not only is Rupp Hintz an incredibly talented player, finished this year top 5 in the Selke voting, and a great two-way skater and everything like that, but he also has a chemistry with Robertson, which I think that's something that was missed for the time that he was out of the lineup.
You look at it tonight, and when you're the Dallas Stars, are up 2-1. Everybody knows, you're only halfway there to winning the series. And, Dallas has had 2 consecutive games where they've gotten completely shredded in the first period. Now, in game 2, they ended up being even. But, last game, they're down 2-0. It's not a recipe for success to always want to be down. What are the Stars talking about in regards to having better starts?
Yeah, this is something that has kind of plagued them all year. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they set the record for franchise comeback wins this season. So getting off to slow starts is not something that's been new for them throughout the regular season as well. They do have to get off to better starts, but I think what they rely on most is kind of playing a more balanced game throughout as the game kind of goes along. A lot of what it is, they also look to kind of see how the opponent is playing, and sometimes that can bite them for, if you get too far behind. But I think so far they've done a decent job of not letting the game get out of hand. And also Jake Ottinger has been instrumental in that, and making sure that, as the Stars are kind of finding their footing, the skaters are, finding their rhythm. Ottinger has usually done a pretty good job of keeping the game within a goal or two.
The matchups that you've seen, we saw Heiskanen heavy on McDavid in game 2, not so much in game 3. It was the Tanev to start in game 1, and that was the one game McDavid's line really dominated them, scoring all 3 goals. With Hintz in now, do you see them really trying to lock him up against McDavid more?
Pete DeBoer hasn't really done that a whole lot in his 2 years in Dallas. This was something that the Stars did a whole lot more of with Rick Bowness, where they would be a lot more of a matchup-driven team. This is why Rick Bowness Stars teams looked a lot different at home as they did on the road, because, at home, obviously, you have last change, and Rick Bowness would really try to utilize that. Whereas Pete DeBoer, he runs a lot more of a 4-line system where he just likes to roll his guys. And, obviously it's a benefit to do that. You have the benefit to do that as a coach when you have as deep of a roster as Dallas does. As you guys well know, Wyatt Johnston, their leading goal scorer, was their 3rd-line centerman this year during the regular season. So when you have that kind of depth, I think that allows for the coach to roll all 3. So I don't know that, they're really going to try to make Rupp Hintz be on the ice when McDavid is, because I feel like they have confidence in their defensemen, whether that's Miro Heiskanen or Chris Tanev, and they also have confidence in their forwards to at least be able to hang with McDavid as much as really any human can possibly do. But you're not gonna stop him, and I think the Stars know that. But I feel like they have a good idea of how to try to contain him.
They've done a good job on Draisaitl more so. Now I know Draisaitl's everybody saw his left finger, his index finger on his left hand. There's obviously it's not 100%, it's bandaged up, but I think that's impacted him on faceoffs for sure. But I think that's where they've had more success in this series is limiting that line, bigger, heavier line. And if I look at the Oilers, that's the line that needs to get going. And meanwhile, the Dallas Stars, I think, have done a very good job in not allowing Leon Draisaitl's line to get rolling. And it's, Heiskanen and Lindell played the most minutes against him last game, but that's the one line that, actually, I think it was Sam Steele's line that played the most minutes against Draisaitl. So if your fourth line can break even against the other team's second line, that's a trade-off you'll take all day.
Yeah, I think so. And also, like, when you look at, as you mentioned, the Sam Steele line and the Dallas fourth line has had their moments throughout the postseason. But the other thing is that, the Stars play with a level of tenacity that's just, you hear that hockey cliche from coaches that are just hard to play against. And I think the Stars fourth line does that more than even their top three lines, where they're really just annoying almost to play against. They're always just kind of in your space. And that does enough to at least tire out the opponent to where when the real playmakers and when the top nine can get on the ice, the opponent is usually a little bit more exhausted than usual. So I think you're right. Like, the Draisaitl line, Draisaitl himself has to get going a lot more, because it certainly looks like the Stars are pretty willing to let McDavid, do what he does in a limited capacity. Obviously, they're trying to contain him, but I think they've accepted that you can't stop McDavid, but maybe you can stop some of the other guys.
Saad Yousef joins us, breaking down the Dallas Stars. You look back at the series against Vegas, they were down 2-0, came back. They were down 1-0 to Colorado. So that's the first time they go into game 4. Well, I guess that's not true, because they were down 1-0, then they won 3 in a row against Colorado. So they're trying to look to emulate that. If you look at the series against the Avs, where after losing game 1, where they blew a 3-goal lead, then they dominated. What are you seeing similarities in maybe how they played against Colorado and how they played against Edmonton? Or are they series very different in your eyes?
I do think they're pretty different in a lot of ways. I think Colorado was hit with some unfortunate circumstances as well, with Val Nichushkin going out in the middle of the series, who had been on a tear to begin the postseason. So I think the Avalanche team was kind of disrupted in that way as well. But I do see some similarities in the fact that I think the Stars are a lot more locked in and focused on kind of playing to their best ability, and they really feel like if they played their best, then they're able to win. And you kind of see that in the way that they handle themselves. This series, it's a 2-1 Stars lead, but if Jason Robertson, and I know you could play this in both sides quite a bit, but if Jason Robertson doesn't hit the post twice in overtime in game 1, I mean, it could very easily also be a 3-0 series lead. And so I think the Stars feel that if they can get to their game and just focus on what they need to do, then they have the talent when healthy. As you said, Roope Hintz playing is a big deal. So when healthy, they feel like they can match up against anyone.
And lastly, give me your thoughts. I don't know if how closely you're watching, but I guess you got to watch it, because whoever wins this series is going to face off the winner of the East. Florida, New York tied it 2. Have had a lot of overtime games in that series. The Panthers get a huge power play goal. What do you make of that series? You surprised where it's at? And who do you like in the East?
I'm a little surprised. I mean, I think, for myself, I just thought that, with the goaltending that the Rangers have and how some of their younger players who are kind of coming into their own are playing, I thought that especially that last game, they would be able to capitalize and go up 3-1. But then the Rangers didn't get, like a single shot on goal for the entire stretch run of that game. And then before Florida ended in overtime. So I think, when you look at it, I feel like the Rangers just have a little bit more of a complete team, but that's not really going out on a limb when you're talking about a President's Trophy winner. But I think the Stars would match up best against Florida, but I think the Rangers probably come out of the East.
So I'd really appreciate your time, man. Enjoy the game.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. That's Saad Yousef joining us from Dallas. So no changes to their top guys. A little adjustment on their fourth line with Faxa coming in for Craig Smith. The Oilers have 3 lineup changes. Broberg's in for Desharnais, and McLeod and Corey Perry, who has now McLeod sat out 1 game. Perry has sat out the last 5. I got to double check if it's 5 or 6. But either way, Corey Perry is out. Back in after being out. And Sam Carrick, who I thought's played really well since coming back in. He will get a night off, as will Warren Fogle. So lots of different guys in the bottom 6 have taken a seat in the press box for a healthy scratch. Kind of shows you have some depth. You can make an argument for the guys coming in that should be in. You can have an argument for the guys coming out. They should stay in. Good problem to have. The guys that are in, got to perform. This is obviously as close as you can get to a must-win game. I think it's a must-win game for the Edmonton Oilers tonight, and I would expect a very good effort start to finish. Starts have not been a problem. The Oilers in the last 2 first periods have outshot Dallas 26-7. They've outscored them 3-1. Probably would like a bigger lead at that point. 2-0 last game. Very good. Then a horrific start to the second. And no goals yet in the third period of this series. No goals in the power play. Those are 2 areas they'd love to see change tonight. We have 20 minutes because we're ending the auction today for charity at 4 o'clock. So it gives you ample time to plan to go to the game. Ryan currently has, this is a bargain, 2 seats, section 122, row 23. Great seats for the Oilers Stars game 4 tonight. 833-401-1440. Man, this is not even face value. Well below, man. You're going to get a bargain here. So 833-401-1440. If you want to go, we will end it at 4 o'clock. Section 122, row 23. Take a quick break. We will return. We'll hear from Chris Knoblauch and more. Lots of text to get to as well on the Jason Gregor Show, presented to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Whether you're gearing up for a corporate golf tournament or just taking a client out for a round, get your branded shirts, jackets, golf caps, and prizing at Elite Promotional Marketing. Before you tee off, make sure you head to elitepromomarketing.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and the used RV market is really heating up. That's good for us, of course, because we believe used RVs are better than new ones. But it's also good for you, because a packed lot at No Bull means you're more likely to find exactly what you're looking for in one visit.
But we offer so much more than finding the right one.
That's right, Bob. When you buy from No Bull, we walk you through every single component, every button, every switch. We confirm with you that everything works, what it's capable of, and how to get the most from it. We even show you the best way to hook it up to your truck. And if you ever have a question, even weeks later, we're still here and happy to help.
Try to get that kind of service when you buy from a random guy off the street.
Good point, Bob. We also offer easy payments. It's just another reason you'll get the perfect RV without all the...
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca. Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
.345. Jeff is in at 9:25. Now Doug's in at 9:50. It always happens. I love it. Well, for charity, the final few minutes here. Have your phones on, Doug, Ryan, and Jeff, because Cons always likes to get everybody to give a phone call so they make sure they get their last bids in. See what happens here. So Doug now has it at 9:50. So there you go. See what happens down the stretch. So not even at face value just yet. So we'll see. Now we got. We're gonna get to inside the room here in a sec. Actually, we'll get to the oil report. Brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. As Chris Knoblauch, lots of comments from the head coach today, and just first of all, his thoughts on Broberg, how he finished the season, and the balance between rust or rest for a guy like that.
Broby's been making the most of his season, and very difficult situation here. We have a player that we feel is NHL ready, but we had our sixth defenseman, and we were very fortunate this year not to have almost no injuries. And we've got a young defenseman who we believe has got tremendous upside, has to play. So, if we have our six, it was not beneficial for him being here as our seven. He went to Bakersfield and was great down there, played really well. And, after their season's finished, or at the end of our season, we got into a few games. And, depending on, I know in the future, down the road, next season, he's going to be a big part of this organization. And right now we have a difficult decision, and, putting in a young player who hasn't played, but we know if he does get that opportunity, he's well qualified to do it and could provide something for our team.
Well, you know what? He'll be excited. Gets in the lineup. Now, we've had a lot of hey, guys, are you concerned he hasn't played in the NHL in a while? Well, look at Alex Petrovic, who came in for Dallas. He was a captain in the American League this year. When their season ended, they brought him up. He came in game 6 against Colorado, pretty big game. And now has played these games. Hasn't looked out of place at all. Now, Nils Lundqvist, I don't think was as playing like Vincent Desharnais was. So there is that. But, Philip Broberg, there's going to be nerves for any player. Could he make a mistake? Yeah, probably. But I got to look at how many pro games he has had. Like, obviously, Vincent Desharnais has played more minutes in the NHL. But if you look at overall pro games, I don't think there's a massive difference between Broberg and Desharnais. Right? They're a little bit different players. Right? Desharnais has emerged as a really good penalty killer. And I think he's improved in lots of elements of his game. Broberg, no question, is a better skater. Right? He's a lot more fluid and moves around. Now, he doesn't take up as much space because he's not 6'7". So, and Desharnais, I mentioned it earlier. I was looking at the passing stats, dug into it with some help from Sport Logic on the Oilers, and just moving the puck and who has which defensemen have been the most accurate. And guess what? If you combine outlet passes and stretch passes, the percentage of those completed. Now, keep in mind he's attempted fewer, but Vincent Desharnais is second highest percentage behind Matthias Ekholm overall. He's completed 4 of 5 stretch passes, and he's completed 69%, 18 of 26 of his outlet passes. So, not bad. Right? So he's not a horrible passer. I think sometimes people will see like he doesn't bring you a lot of offense. That's fair. But not every player has to. I don't think Vincent Desharnais is here to bring offense. Right? He started to excel as being a very good penalty killer. So I don't think Broberg's going to take those minutes. I think they're just looking at, Desharnais being on the ice, I think, for 3 goals here lately, 5-on-5. So they're just looking sometimes. It's not like he's played awful, but I think it's a little bit of a reset for him. Right? They did it to Stuart Skinner. Look at how he's played since his comeback. He's been fine. And now Ryan McLeod, he comes back in tonight. There's another guy. Like, you got to think Ryan McLeod should be amped up. Like, do you want to come out of the lineup again? Because I think what the coaches said very quietly, hey, if you're not going to play up to your expectations, we got other guys who will. So carry your weight tonight. So I would think you would have a very ready Ryan McLeod. Knoblauch was asked, did they get away from attention to detail, specifically in the second and third period when Dallas started to push last game?
Yeah, it's one is you getting into trouble is usually not breaking the puck out, and usually it's just a simple play, a little more communication with your partner or line mate. And then, when they do have their time in the offensive zone, it's just making sure everyone's connected and everyone's playing together and doing their job. And, I think we're looking to get out. I thought in the first period, we had so much success getting the puck out. And then going into second period, we're just anticipating that puck going out, and it wasn't. So we have to make sure that take care of our details, defensive details first before we're on the attack. And that being said, no matter how well we play defensively, no matter how few mistakes we make, Dallas will still be making some plays. They will still get their scoring chances. We just have to do our job in trying to minimize them.
Yeah, exactly. Dallas, just like Edmonton kids going to get their chances tonight. Dallas is going to get their chances. And you just hope that if you're Edmonton, you can limit the damage. You're not going to win when you allow 3 goals in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. It's just not going to, even though they came back and tied the game. Think about how hard you had to work in all the other minutes, but 3 minutes and 33 seconds basically disrupted your whole game plan and cost you the game. But it cost them the game. So you can give up a goal in that time. Like, you're going to give up goals. It's rare to have a shutout. You just can't hemorrhage goals against like they did. So this series has been quicker than Vancouver and LA. Was that part of the decision where it looks like McLeod and Broberg are coming in so you have a little bit more team speed?
I think Dallas, not necessarily. I think their team is fast. I think they play fast because they're well connected and they do things together. Everyone's on the same page. For speed, they definitely have guys who can skate. But overall, the other two teams, I'm not sure they've got more speed than the other last two teams that we saw. But as a team organizational structure, they do have that more speed, and that's usually puck movement. And I think it's important. You look at having a team that's playing physical. It's important to have physicality in the playoffs, and it is important to have speed. And we have to do evaluate what's important for us, how much speed, how much physicality we're going to compromise, and find the right balance. And we do have some options. We have some players that didn't play last game that can come in the lineup and provide a little more for us.
Well, there you go. Ryan, Doug, fellas, answer your phone. Conman's going to be calling you. He's got a private number because he's a big deal. So if you get a private phone number right now, answer your phone because we're coming down the wire for the auction. He always likes to call everybody. We got lots more. Text flying in at 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I'm curious, Gregor, what were your thoughts on the Darnell Nurse press conference today? Well, it was short. You know what? Every guy's going to make their choice on how they want to interact. The media don't play the game. The fans don't play the game. If you don't like a question, I think it's totally within your realm to say, hey, I don't like that question. Nothing wrong with it. None of the questions today were that. They asked about Philip Broberg, right, about the team's ability to bounce back when they're down in series like they were in Vancouver, like they were to LA 2 years ago. But none of the questions were even about his own play. So I don't really understand where the short, curt answers came from. But you know what? Hey, if Darnell Nurse is that surly on the ice, then great. But I've always I look at Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner has a bad game. Now, he didn't talk to the media right after the game. Fine. Said he's too emotional. The next day, he stood in there, talked lots. Hey, guess what? I got to play better. Now, everybody's different, right? Darnell Nurse didn't want to ever say, hey, you know what? I got to play better. It's his choice. Doesn't seem to want to do it. I'm not sure that type of thing will endear him to his fan base when he's been on the ice for that many goals against, right? If Darnell Nurse was getting ripped on, and that's why I always chuckle when people online, a small percentage of people the media runs guys out of town. I'm like, do you read what the fans write about players? I've never called anybody a name. Go read what fans say. I always find it laughable running anyone out of town, right? If there's an article written that says Darnell Nurse needs to play better, how's that running anybody out of town? It's factual. He needs to play better. It's that simple. He's not the only player, but he needs to play better. That's it. Full stop. End of discussion. So we'll see. I think, you know what? You open yourself up more to criticism, and he's probably fine with it. I just thought it was kind of odd timing to do it. If you're unhappy with one article is written by one member of the media, then have the issue with him. I've always said that. If I don't like one player, I'm not going to I'm not going to talk to all the players because this one guy I don't like. It's ridiculous, right? No other media member talks for me. No other media member asks questions for me. It's all individual. If you don't like me, that's no problem. You're entitled to that. Away we go. I've had guys, you pull aside, you have one-on-one conversations. Doesn't necessarily mean you change anything. It's like, hey, I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to yours. All right. As long as it's respectful. Right? You can say, hey, the player made a terrible play. Doesn't mean he's a terrible player. There's two different things. Right? Darnell Nurse needs to play better. Full stop. He's not the only one. And really, last game wasn't a major factor in the loss last game. But he was part of it, just not a major one. So, yeah, man, I didn't really understand the timing of it today. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Let's be honest, right? It's going to get a lot of views and stuff and talk, but the Oilers play very well tonight. It isn't going to matter. If they lose tonight, they won't lose because he had a short 1-minute press conference. Right? It's not going to impact anything. The game will be decided by how they perform on the ice. Each player. Not how they speak in the media. You could be a media darling. You could be a media dud. It doesn't really matter. It changes how some people will view you, fans, some media people alike. Sure. I've always said it this way to play. If you treat someone with respect, and then when it comes to them having to critique you, they'll probably critique you a little bit, maybe more professionally than if you're an ass. When it comes time to criticism, be like, hey, man, get the steak knives out. No problem. Let's go to town. So it's your choice. But I thought it was a little odd to do it today. Nurse needs to play better, whether he talks to the media or not. It's that simple. 4 o'clock, when we return, Mike Rupp on the Rangers and the Panthers, also the Oilers and the Stars, and then Louie DeBrusk, get his thoughts on the series and more on a busy Wednesday edition. Cons, who is the winner?
Looks like it's going to Jeff.
Jeff. All right, big Jeff. Congratulations. I love it. So Jeff's going to, thanks to Doug and Ryan for helping bet it up. We love it. So Jeff will get that donation. Then he'll be going to the game tonight. Big thanks to Tim who donated those tickets in. I love it. Here's the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. And trust me, the Fountain Tire guys, they're a little stitious. Mike texts in, hey, boys, I'm wearing my Oiler hat to work at Fountain Tire. Guaranteed win. I've only ever won it twice. They've won both times. Book it. Oh, there you go. The Fountain Tire guarantee at fountaintire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
They lead the Tigers 8-2. That's in the bottom of the 8th. Earlier on today in game 1, Tigers won 8-0. You got the Phillies lead the Giants 6-0 in the 8th. And the 6th, the Dodgers and Mets all tied up at 3. And the Padres at home trail the Marlins 7-1 in the top of the 6th. Later today, Red Sox take on the Orioles. Rays host the Athletics. Cubbies in Milwaukee. Twins battle the Royals. Yankees meet the Angels. And the Mariners take on the Astros. 2 other finals today. Rangers knocked off the Diamondbacks 6-1. And it was the Cards over the Reds 5-3. In the PWHL, it is Game 5. Winner will be league champion. Boston takes on Minnesota in Boston. That gets going just after 5 o'clock. And at the Memorial Cup, we've got Saginaw taking on London at 5:30. The winner of this one advancing to Sunday's final. The loser takes on Moose Jaw Friday evening in the semifinal. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLers Mike Rupp and Louie DeBrusk. Also, another edition of 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave 118th.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
This spring, the savings continue at the Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as a chance to scratch and save an additional 40% off your purchase. Plus, you'll have the chance to win great prizes, including a $10,000 Brick shopping spree. Find amazing deals on kitchen appliances and save up to $400 on sofas, so you can prepare your ultimate game day snacks and then watch the game in style. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey everyone, it's Brent Fullerton from Carefree RV. If you're looking for lightweight camping solutions, we offer a ton of options starting from under 600 pounds and prices under $15,000. If you're looking for a lightweight RV, check out our selection and start making your carefree memories today. Visit us in Edmonton, Leduc, and at carefreerv.ca.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup tonight from 6 to 9. Check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Before every big interview, every big presentation, every big moment, I've always looked in the mirror and put on my game face. But lately, my eyes look tired, my brow looks old, and I'm starting to think it's game over.
Stop thinking and start seeing Dr. Vance Elliott for skin refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance.
He didn't make me look weird. No, he gave me back my game face.
Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Just after 4 o'clock, welcome back Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. It is game day on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. The Oilers and the Stars in a pivotal game 4. And hey, you can get involved in it. I know many of you texting in, you're deciding on which jersey to wear tonight. It's a big decision. Make the right one. You clearly don't want to cost the team by your choice of jersey. Now, let's be real. I don't think that matters, but hey, if it matters to you, that's all that matters. PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, maybe you feel like, you know what? I've been waiting for the right time to use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50. You get a free $50 play with a $5 purchase. Pretty simple. $5 deposit, get 50. It's not bad. Make it count. Orders, by the way, slight favorite tonight. To win by 1.5, even more of a favorite. Are they due to win with an empty netter of their own? 3 games in a row where the winning team has an empty net goal. We'll see. Should be a great game. I expect the Oilers to be hungry. They got 3 new faces in the lineup. They got some guys who obviously know what's on the line. And the Dallas Star, hey, they got a chance to take a stranglehold in this series. They did it against Colorado. Now, a little bit different circumstances because that was the game 4 where right before the game, like literally a few hours before the game, was announced that Shushkin had a 6-month suspension. So there's no... Edmonton has some roster changes that I think will probably be received a lot more positive than find out one of your teammates has been suspended for 6 months. So a little bit different of a situation. Let's get around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's. Stop in right now. Hey, summer drink days are back at McDonald's with a small McCafe iced coffee or a Coke for only $1 all summer long at McDonald's. Mike Rupp, Stanley Cup champion, ace analyst on the NHL Network, joins us. Rupper, how you doing?
What's up, Greg? How are you, man?
Oh, living the dream, buddy. I'm ready for a big game. I love it. The deeper you go into the series, it just gets a little more exciting. We saw it last night. We'll start in the East, and then we'll come to the West. Florida and the Rangers, man. I want it, like, Alexis Lafreniere, man, like the Rangers are like, God, if we could get Panarin and Zibanejad going to be killing it, because this guy, like his best play might not even be the one he scored on. That move around right arm, and then he ripped it off the bar. Like that's looking like a guy who's like, hey, I'm ready to show that I can be an elite player in the NHL.
He's been good. That was my Darnell impression. You like it?
Yeah.
Is good?
Yeah. Oh, I got it right away. I like it.
Listen, man, I got, you know me, I can't stop talking, so I can't be Darnell for this. Alexis Lafreniere, coming out party a little bit for him, right?
Yeah.
So, I hope all the people out there that have said he's a bust, he's this, he's that, please come forward now and just say he looks like he's going to be a good player, and he is right now. So he's come through in a big way, and I actually wonder, like, what if it wasn't for him coming out right now and being a dominant player every shift? What if, Barclay Goodrow didn't score a ton of goals? Like, honestly, this team's kind of in a little bit of trouble, I think. They've gotten the timely stuff. Like, that's why I'm never a big fan of, like, we sit there and we say, oh, they don't get depth scoring. Then a team gets depth scoring. You're like, well, their stars aren't scoring, right? But it just never seems to all be working together. They're still in an okay spot, tied 2-2. Laugh has been incredible. I mean, the confidence he shows virtually every time he touches the puck. Like, he's doing something. And it's happening. It's happening for him. And I love watching it. But I also think this Rangers team, they're kind of very fortunate that he's picked this up, because the other big guys have kind of, in the goal scoring department, haven't really gotten it done. So, he's doing everything he can. Igor Shesterkin's been the story. They've gotten the great timely goals from different parts of their lineup. But at the end of the day, if they're going to move on to the Stanley Cup finals, they're going to have Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad, and I'll probably chuck in there Artemi Panarin too, scoring goals.
Yeah, no, those guys definitely have to get going. The Panthers, though, despite all of this, like it's 2-2. Right. So, like, if you're the Rangers, you come home and you say, hey, we think our top guys are going to get going here. And, then you look at Florida and you're like, man, like this series is the best of 3 and we don't have home ice advantage and we've probably played really well. Like, you can look at it both ways, where the Panthers can be happy, but maybe a little concerned, because what if the Ranger guys do wake up?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it. And whatever team, I just know from my experience playing, you're grasping at whatever is going to give you positive vibes. It's all about positive vibes this time of year, you know? So you could sit there and you could say, you know, for the Rangers, for that standpoint, hey, we're in a spot right now, and our guys aren't even our best guys. Aren't even been our best guys. Like, that's a good thing, but it's also, you know, might not be a good thing if those guys don't get going, right? Like, there's so many different ways that you're trying to look at it, but you know, I think this Florida Panthers team is, you know, their power play is getting some timely goals for them right now. They're a dangerous team, and they're dangerous. And this is such a blanketing statement, but I think, and again, this is not to come down on the Rangers stars, because I do believe in those guys, and their team needs them right now. But can we give credit to the Florida Panthers stars, because they are their stars, and they come through on a nightly basis. So if it's one night it's Sam Reinhart, the next night is Sasha Barkov. And if it's not Barkov, then it's Verhaeghe. And if it's not Verhaeghe, it's Matthew Tkachuk. I mean, those guys are gamers, and they're all different types of players, right? Like, in what they do. But at the end of the day, when they need a big moment, it seems to always be those guys.
Yeah, and that's what you need, right? Like, a big believer, man. If you're going to go deep in the playoffs, your best players have to be your best players. It's just, you know, it's nice to have depth guys, but at the end of the day, you know what? Like, for the Rangers to probably come back, you know, and win the series now, Rupper, they're going to need more from their best guys. Now, Shesterkin's been great, so he's one of their best guys. But you know what? If Panarin and Zibanejad keep shooting blanks, I think it's really hard for them to win.
Yeah, and you know, the big thing too, it's about getting to the right areas of the ice too. You know, I love Mika, but Mika's he's not getting to the hard areas of the ice. And when you're struggling to score goals, it's about simplifying and getting to those areas. You know, I mean, there's you can say all you want, and from a role player like myself, even if you go a long stretch without playing, like, sure, without scoring, you want to shoot more. You want to shoot as much as you can, but you also got to go to the net. Like, there's times where, you know, I wasn't a high volume shooter when I played, but I knew when I was struggling, I haven't scored in a long time, and I'm not feeling confident with the puck. Like, just go to the net. And I think they need a little bit more of that. And I'm starting to see now, like, Panarin, he's getting points. Zibanejad's getting points. You know, like, they're getting points, but I think they need goal production to kind of help this team get over the hump. But I'm seeing Panarin, this is where the physicality is a real thing. It's now I'm seeing, you know, Florida's invested in that, the hits department from game one. And now Panarin's just like, he's getting the puck on his stick, and he's just flinging it on net from, like, the boards. And that's not Artemi Panarin's game. His game, he wants a possession game. He wants to hang on to puck, circle back, you know. And right now, I just feel like he knows he's going to get hit. He knows he doesn't have much time. So he's got to make an adjustment. They got to get to the hard areas of the ice and pay a price.
Mike Rupp joins us. Now, Rupp, we'll move to Edmonton, and I know you had some fun earlier on, but what do you make of when a guy like Nurse does that? Like, to me, how you speak to the media really has no relevance in how the game's going to be played. All it does, though, is it just, you know what? If you don't have a good game, your fans, I think, are much less likely to want to support you.
Yeah, so it's funny because, you know, I obviously see a different side of it now. Doing what I do now, and, you know, I kind of don't, I still feel like I'm a player, but at the same time, you know, you get a different respect for people doing their job, and they've got to write an article, or they've got to, you know, there's jobs to happen, and you want to show respect. And so I don't like what he did. I don't think it's like, oh man, that was awesome. Like, no, I don't think it's a great look, but I'm going to cut him some slack here, because I'm not a defenseman playing for a Canadian market that makes a boatload of money, and there's a ton of pressure. That's pressure I've never felt. But I will say this, by doing that, and I've had teammates, you know, maybe have moments like that, let's let his game do the talking here tonight.
Fair.
Okay, so if he comes out in this game, and Darnell Nurse is a force that he can be, and we've seen him be at different times, then whatever, you move on, whatever. But here's the thing the reason why I don't like it for Darnell is, what if tonight is a rough night? You've opened yourself up to a whole new world of heat. You know what I mean? So I think in those moments, yep, you can make your stand. You can say a few words. You can show that you're ticked off. But we got to let the game do the talking. So this is. I've got even more eyes on Darnell Nurse here tonight. I'm expecting him to have a big game. Unfortunately, I think if he doesn't, I don't think the last 24, 48 hours is going to be anything to what he's going to deal with after a bad game tonight.
Yeah, like the teams, as a whole has to be better holding leads. No question. He's part of the team. I look at Nurse's game specifically, and then we'll move on to the team. I just think Nurse has to trust his best asset, which is skating. He doesn't need to back in as much. Dallas doesn't have I look at their wingers. They're not a bunch of burners. Like Stan Coven might be their fastest winger, right? Like they don't have a lot of guys. Like they don't have a McDavid or a McKinnon or anybody who just can blow right by you. Nurse is a really good skater. Like to me, he's got to step up more. And if a guy does get a step on him, Nurse can recover, right? Like that's where I think he gets into trouble. So to me, he's got to trust his best asset more and use it tonight.
Yeah, and one thing I think that, I could say this about a few different guys and a couple different teams, and we talked about the Rangers. I think they need this. Edmonton needs this, and this is a word that I use a lot, and it's just the word conviction. Just play with conviction. And if I'm coaching a team, I think of course we want everybody to have perfect reads at all times. Greg, I want you to go when it's the right time to go. And I want you to stay back when it's not. But this is a fast game we play. Just do it with conviction. Do it, make a decision, make a read, and be all in on that. And I feel like there's a lot of second guessing happening with Edmonton right now. I think sometimes it's with the forwards, even in the D zone. And I think they need an alpha dog on the back end to be make the read and go. There's a lot of two guys take a step to go and then they hesitate a second, and there's a hesitation in their game. And to your point, knowing what you do well, he's a defenseman that skates extremely well. He's got good size, and he could be pretty nasty. Lean into that. Play with conviction. Even if it's the wrong read, you're allowing your teammates to be very clear. Darnell's doing this, so my response is this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's an area I think that he could be a little more efficient in.
No, that's fair. I that's very fair because what's interesting is they're doing that on the penalty kill. Now, there hasn't been a lot of power plays in the series, but on the penalty kill, the Oilers have no hesitation, Rupper. They're down a man and they're going, right? And you get guys off. So I love how you describe that because you look at it and say, hey, it's working for us 4-on-5. Let's just do it 5-on-5 now. And sure, sometimes you might make the wrong read, but if you do it with conviction and there's no hesitation, the other guy's going to have to react to you, and maybe he just doesn't make a perfect pass and, goes off a skate and it's in the corner and we can regroup. So I like that with hesitation.
Yeah, and you could live with that. Yeah. And you could live with that as a coach, right? If someone, because here's the thing, when there's hesitation, now you've taken two guys out of doing their job. You know what I mean? It's a game of mistakes. Every shift, if we sat there and went over with if we combed over every shift, I could point out, and with that being said, every single one of my shifts, you could be pointing out mistakes I've made in my career.
Yeah.
So this isn't this happens to every single player, but you can nitpick it, but you live with mistakes because they happen, but just do it with conviction because then the next guy, now you have layers. Tough hockey happens. You need layers. You need guys to know that this guy is doing X. I'm gonna respond with Y, and I think that's an area that he could certainly, the team could be better at, 5-on-5.
Yeah, you look at the Oilers, Rupper, and they've started like a house on fire here the last two games, and absolutely had Dallas on their heels, dominating them. The last game they're up 2-0. They didn't take advantage of it in Dallas and was tie after one, and then still tied through two. But both second periods, Dallas has been able to counter punch and really kind of hammer the Oilers down, especially in game 3. What's the key, Rupper, to know when the push is coming and to find a way to kind of hang out on the ropes and take the body blows without taking a few direct shots that have you KO'd?
Yeah, are you saying from the Dallas Stars perspective?
No, from the Oilers to be the ones, hey,
Oilers,
we know we're going to take some shots here. Let's just not let them knock us out.
Yeah, it's tough because like I find I was trying to get myself pretend I'm in the room and just the way that first period went the other night. Like, I don't know if you look at it and be like, hey boys, see what can happen when we're playing, or is that just like, is that unsustainable? Like that was an incredible first period. Like they were going right. So, and then from the Dallas standpoint, I think the psyche is like, I know from being in games where you come in and you get worked in the first period, it might be 0-0. It might be 1-0, it might be 2-0 like it was. But you come in between periods and the message on a team like Dallas the other night would be like, hey boys, that's all they got. Like that they gave us everything. And now we start chipping away and we start, turning the tides here. So I don't know. I think from the Edmonton standpoint, it's like, it's hard to see. You don't want to let off the gas. I want the first period for them, like we saw in the last game. I want them to get a 2-goal lead, and hopefully it could be 3, 4. I mean, they've got the capability of doing that. But at the same rate, just know the rest of the game, you can't play that style, that tempo. Like, I think there has to. I've always had the impression, it was told to me as a young player in the league that you can't win a series in one shift, but you can lose one. You know what I mean? And so when you just got to kind of, it's so hard to put it into words because you're not going to let off the gas. You're not going to pace yourself. We're not running a mile and trying to, pace ourselves on each lap. Like this is the Stanley Cup playoffs. But at the same time, the Dallas Stars are okay with just taking it on the chin and then they start leaning on you. And at that point, I think if you're Edmonton, you might have to adjust the way you're making plays or the decisions you're making. But, man, I love that first period. I just don't know if it's sustainable for 60 minutes.
I look at the Oilers and, they've led for 61 minutes in the series. Dallas has led for 35. They've outshot them in the series. Like, honestly, I don't think Edmonton should be panicking at all. I think that their attention to details, the last game, you look at 2 goals where the puck is literally an inch from getting out. You got to get it out. You don't fan on it. Get it out. I don't care. Ice the puck. Get it out of the zone. And to me, those little details at crunch time is just, you tighten up there. They're right in this series, right? I think offensively, though, they need more from their second line. They don't have a goal yet in the series as a line, right? So that's something that happens. Like we saw Dallas's top line got going last game, right? Now I think tonight, I expect McDavid's line to have another good game. But they need something from the dry side of the line tonight.
Yeah, they certainly do. That's their MO. I mean, they have the ability and they've got the players. Like, I just don't believe that this is. It's always going to be 97-29. Like they're that's who they are. Like that's what they do. We know Hyman and Nuge, and there's a lot of big guys on this team. I mean, Bouchard's not getting enough love, I think, across the NHL for what he's done in the playoffs. There's enough there that, this team should certainly feel confident. But it's just, that's that one decision at that one time. And I even go back to the, which goal was that of Robertson's goals last game? When he walked into that one time, or is that his first goal?
Yeah, that was the first one where Nugent Hopkins had a chance cleared, didn't get out.
Yeah, so Nuge doesn't get it out, right? And Hintz bodies up on him. And just in that quick moment, I was watching the replay and kind of doing some video yesterday, and Nuge kind of puts his hand up to the referee, like he wants a call. Like, no, that's not the time. Like, you get back in the play and, try to, and whatever. And Hintz literally saves that puck from going out. If that puck's standing upright on its edge, that's offside.
Yep.
It's leaning enough so it's covering the plane, and it's good. Like, it's a game of, I mean, that's not even in that's not even inches. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a fine line. But the one play, then the puck gets cycled down low, and the pass or the cycle happens, and Rupp Hintz is behind the net, and Bouchard is the fronting defenseman. He just hesitates that one split second. And there's actually nothing wrong. He's trying to be safe. He doesn't want to run out of position. But that lack of, like, making that read and going keeps that play alive. And next thing you know, Hintz gets it, walks up the wall, and puts it on a tee for Robertson. So, I mean, they're right there, like you said. And they're not far off. I wouldn't be overly concerned about anything. I'm expecting a bounce. Not a bounce back. I thought he was pretty good in the game. I'm expecting a big game from Stuart Skinner. And I think the Edmonton Oilers come out in this game and they tie the series up, and they show that they've got some resolve inside that room too.
Should be a great game, Rupper. As always, we appreciate it. To enjoy your time. We'll talk to you next week.
Awesome. Talk later, Greg.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from the NHL Network. Quick break. When we return, we will continue on the analysis. Special guest joining us next, Louie DeBrusk on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. Guys used to call me a plumber, and now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Clear up some garage space and keep your tires in prime condition at Windermere Chrysler. We offer convenient, on-site seasonal tire storage that ensures your tires are safe, sound, and ready when you need them. With every service visit, enjoy a complimentary tire and wheel alignment analysis, plus a thorough car wash and vacuum. Trust Windermere Chrysler to maintain both your vehicle and your tires to impeccable condition. The choice is clear.
It's Windermere.
Visit windermeredodge.ca.
Why shop the big bin sale at Metal Supermarkets? Because they're clearing out everything in their off-cut bins at 30% off. Check out the wide assortment of miscellaneous metal and save. 30% off everything in the off-cut bins until Saturday, June 8th only. Hey, when's the last time something actually cost less? Exactly. And with the money you save, treat yourself to something posh, like groceries. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
me as we roll through a busy game day. Sports 1440. It's the Oilers and the Dallas Stars tonight. Game 4. Broberg's in for Desharnais, it looks like. Also, McLeod and Perry coming in. Fogle and Carrick come out. Faxa will be in for the Dallas Stars. Craig Smith is coming out. So we'll get to all those lineup changes and more. Talk a little analysis with our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition. Check out hockeysuperleague.ca for more information. Of course, longtime NHLer, maybe even longer now as an analyst. I have to ask him about that. I think he might be in a longer career as an analyst now as he was as a player. Louie DeBrusk, of course, analyst for Oilers hockey on Rogers Sportsnet, joins us. Louie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Jay. What's going on, man? Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. Now,
everything's good?
Are you've been an analyst now longer than you've been a player?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
This is that was year 19 for me, so it'll be year 20 as a broadcaster next year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I guess
you know what? Yeah, it goes by fast, doesn't it? Crazy. But yeah, I played right around I guess 15 years pro hockey. So yeah, it's a little bit longer now, which is even more amazing. I never really thought of it that way, but it's crazy how time flies.
Yeah. You started out in Arizona. Something tells me your day after the games, at least now, later in your career, probably a lot easier to get up than when you were playing.
Yeah. You know what? The afternoon nap, if I have one, was a lot easier too, instead of a cold sweat for a couple hours.
Yeah, touche.
Yeah, wake up nightmares in my sleep.
Oh yeah, which behemoth am I fighting tonight? Yeah, nice. That's true.
Is Stu Grimson in town tonight? I can't remember. Is it Tony Twist? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Oh God. The Oilers and the Stars, there's not a lot of that physicality, which leads me to this one for it. Evander Kane isn't intimidated by anybody. We've seen it. He'll fight Reeves. He'll stand up as the door off. I know this series is a little bit different, but would you like to see Kane be the instigator a little bit? Like Dallas has Jamie Benn, but that's really it. Like, would you like to see Kane more? Or is this series just not one where, you can have that physical intimidation?
It's a good question. I think there's a real fine line between running around and potentially taking penalties and being a physical presence. And you kind of have to try and walk that line. But I do feel, and I have felt that Edmonton, when they are aggressive and they get on the forecheck, they can be more physical. When they aren't physical, I find that Dallas just gets out of the zone a little too quickly, a little too easily. They've got great defense. They've got great defense that are mobile, that are able to make that pass. If you look at the two first periods in the last two games, they got on them. They get on them. They're physical. They're aggressive. They turn pucks over. Very similar to what Dallas does to Edmonton when they're rolling. That's what happens. Is they get aggressive on the forecheck. They get a little more physical, and they start to turn pucks over. So, yes, I think there's always the ability to be a little bit more physical. You just have to make sure you're walking that line and not getting the hands up high, not getting the stick up high, not taking needless penalties right now in the playoffs. But any chance you can get a lick on Heiskanen, absolutely do it. The guy plays a ton of minutes. He's a fantastic defenseman. Try and slow him down any way you can. And I think that goes for every defenseman. It doesn't really matter who it is. Nowadays, if you can get a hit on somebody, and for Evander Kane, I think that's when he's playing his best anyway. He has to get engaged. He hasn't produced in the series yet. I think it's a couple of goals in his last 10 games in the playoffs, I believe, 8 to 10 games now. I haven't looked at the exact numbers, but it's time for him to make his presence felt, and I think he's probably feeling it himself. He kind of gets to that point where it's like, okay, it's time to get on the board, time to be an impact, and they need more players to be impactful in the series, no question about it.
You look at how the series has gone, Louie, and I think it's been a pretty even series, right? Every game's a one-goal game. Edmonton, though, has blinked a little bit more, especially in the second half of games. Right? What are you seeing as the games go on where they haven't been able to sustain what they've done early in games?
It's incredible because, they're 0-4 tied after two periods of the playoffs this year. And when you look at their regular season, their third period was their best period by far. They became a really, really good third period team that just went after teams. And I think that's probably the root of the evil for me, is sitting back a little bit too much, just chipping pucks out, chipping pucks in, not establishing that possession in the O-zone, and defending with possession. which they did so well, especially in that 16-game stretch. They were closing out teams in the third period. It was amazing how they just controlled the game. And that's really what it comes down to, is control. Now, you have to understand, the Final Four right now, the 4 teams that are remaining are incredible teams. And the Dallas Stars are a team that aren't just going to sit back and say, okay, we're not going to push. They are going to push when they're down. And we've seen them do that, and they're incredible at it.
Yep.
But Edmonton, I just think, has to have that little bit of a mentality of, and I'm not saying cheat on the offense or cheat to kind of get the next one, but have the mentality, we're going to get the next one. We're playing in an even game right now. We want to get the next one. Manage the puck, make good decisions, make sure pucks are getting out of our zone, and establish that forecheck, because it just seems to me that the forwards of Dallas are flying out of the zone. I mean, Joe Pavelski's hanging around the offensive blue line. They're always an option up there, and they're finding that. It's making and forcing the defense of Edmonton to have to be back out of the zone. And I just think that if you get in there a little more aggressively, you can start to close that gap up and hem them in a little bit, which they've done. They've done in stretches, and they've dominated. I think both teams have dominated in stretches, which is pretty incredible. And it's whatever team can execute and get to that game. But it's interesting to me to see Edmonton kind of falter late in games, because that's where I believe they were great in closing out games in their 8-game win streak and their 16-game win streak. And down the stretch, they became a real solid third-period team. Hasn't been that way in the playoffs so far. But that's the playoffs. It only takes one mistake, and it can be in the back of your net, and the game's over. And they've been real tight games, and it seems like a small margin of error costs you a lot at this time in the season.
Louie DeBrusk joins us. Louie, what'd you make of the 3 changes that are coming tonight?
Yeah, it's interesting, because it's the first time they've lost 2 in a row. I think that for Chris Knoblauch, he wanted to get the speed of McLeod back in there. The Philip Broberg one for me is a little, I don't want to say head scratcher, because he's a great young defenseman, and obviously you're always looking for an opportunity maybe to get him in the lineup. But he only played 12 games this year. Played a couple of games at the end of the year in Arizona and Colorado, I believe, and I think his ice times in those 2 games were the most he played all year, the most that he played in games all year. So I felt he should have got more games this year. I know it was really difficult. They didn't have a lot of injuries on the back end, so they didn't have an opportunity to throw him in there and get him in the mix, and they were rolling. They were trying to secure their spot right down to the end pretty much, except for the last couple games. So what do I think of them? I think it's, you see changes all the time. If you look around the league, especially in the playoffs, there's been changes. Every team makes them. The Rangers have had different guys in another lineup. The Florida Panthers have injected a couple guys in and out. I mean, it's just the way it goes. And Rope Hintz came into the game last game, had a real impactful game for the Dallas Stars, obviously their top centerman. So, listen, give the guys the opportunity. Guys will be excited. You've got fresh legs going in there, guys that are motivated. I think Ryan McLeod, for me, will be the most motivated of all of them. Being a scratch and getting back into the lineup, he's going to be, juiced to kind of go out there and get something done. Hasn't produced, hasn't found, the back of the net in the playoffs. And it's been a tough stretch for him. And I don't know. I kind of get the feeling that he's going to get on the board tonight. I don't know why. I just think he's going to be really motivated to go out there and use that speed that he has. I'm sure he's had meetings and talks in the last couple of days, and he'll be ready to go and he'll be motivated. So sometimes that's the little boost you're looking for to try and get you kind of settled and into the way. And we'll see. We'll see how it transpires in the game. But I think right now it's just everybody's kind of been in the mix. Broberg, for me, is the guy that's been out the longest. He hasn't played the most. So he'll be the most interesting, again, playing as offside potentially with Kulak. We'll see how he does there.
When you look at this Louie DeBrusk joins us from Rogers Sportsnet, McLeod, Henrique, and Brown, would that be your third line? And then you have Janmark, Perry, and Ryan, or would you have a different combination in your bottom 6?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, for Corey Perry. Obviously hasn't had the impact you kind of expect him to have in the playoffs. I think he's been bothered by some things. He's taken a couple hard hits late in the season, and I think it kind of slowed him down a little bit. He'll be motivated, though, and he's always dangerous. I think you could start him essentially anywhere in the fourth line. If he's having one of those games with the puck's falling around, he's getting to the net and he's finding some chances, which might kind of be, in my opinion, what the Oilers have to do. They have scored 3 goals, though, 12 of the 15 games in the playoffs. So, I mean, it should be enough to win a hockey game. For me, it's always been about defending. It's always been about, maintaining that defensive structure, protecting the front of your net, and just making it a real hard place to go to as much as you can. But at the same time, I talked about it earlier, having that possession to kill off time, not just giving the puck back to a team that's coming in waves. You're just playing with fire, and we've seen that happen in the playoffs, Edmonton. So I think they've learned that lesson. They'll be better. But good question. I would probably start the third line, as you mentioned. I think Connor Brown has kind of elevated himself now in the playoffs in my eyes, the way he's skating, the way he's forechecking, the penalty kill. He's into the mix now. So I would keep him on the on the third line, and I'd probably start Corey Perry in the fourth, and then maybe plug him, play him in spots where, just seeing how the game goes for him. He's one of those guys that can play a lot more. He's one of those guys that can play impactful minutes in a smaller role. He knows what to do. He's going to be motivated. He's been in a ton of playoff games. He's going to step right in there, and that's what's made him so critical to so many teams now, especially in the last few years. Just 4 or 5 years going to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 in a row, how he did, and just understanding how to get up for those games. So he can have an impactful game and not have to play as many minutes, I feel, and it might give some stability down the lineup.
Lou, you watch a lot of the games right from ice level, right? And then you watch them on TV or from the press box. Can you explain just how different it is on TV? Because I know, because I've sat down low and it's fast, but you're on ice level. Like, I'll sit row 10, and I still think row 10 to ice level is different. Like, even for you, when you do a game from ice level, then you do one up in the press box, how different is it?
It's really different. It's incredible how much more you see from higher in the arena, and how much slower it looks, and how much time and space it looks like the players have on the ice. I think everybody should experience the game right from ice level if they could. Just to kind of have a perspective of how quick things happen, how little space you do have, and just your sight lines get blocked. It's amazing. Like, you from up top in the press box, and some of these press boxes are high. I've always found that, you're a little more critical of the play because it seems like the players have more time and space, and they really don't, though. On ice level, it closes off pretty quick. It allows us to have a little better view from up above, to see things develop. You can see what's happening because you can see a broader picture. When you're in that tunnel vision world that is at ice level, it's why the elite players are so great. Yeah. They have the ability in that tight space and those closed off lanes to be able to find players. Draisaitl will find a backhand pass through 3 people onto the tape. He makes it look easy, but at ice level, you go, I can't believe he made that pass. I don't understand how he got that through there.
Yeah.
But from up in the press box, you go, oh yeah, I see that guy open over on the far side of the ice. But to see that through potentially 9 other players on the ice is incredible. It really is incredible. And things happen in a blink of an eye. I find that I'm watching the play more when I'm down on the bench, because if you take your eye off the play when you're on the bench, you can get a puck in the face. You can get a stick that comes over, or someone taking a hit. There's a lot of things happening. So you just have to be really dialed in and more focused. You certainly do miss things, though. And I would say, just like a player, doesn't execute a play, I don't execute a call sometimes from being between the benches. I will miss some stuff because you're blocked off from certain angles to see things. So it does give you a better perspective of how it looks down at ice level. And to a certain degree, I do believe that, for me anyway, I'm a little more lenient on when things happen really fast, because they do happen real quick on the ice level, and mistakes are going to happen. It's unavoidable.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. It's on. If you
unavoidable.
It just, you hope that the mistakes you make are like 3s and 4s, not 9s and 10s, right? That's
and I know I heard something you said earlier too. And I think, just the critical areas of the ice, you talked about those inside the blue line, getting a puck out. You talked about a couple turnovers of the Oilers that cost them. And I agree with you. I think that those are the areas that, when they're playing well, and listen, they played their best hockey when their backs were against the wall against the Vancouver Canucks, in my opinion. I think it really forced them to dial into the details, and that's when Edmonton becomes a really, really hard team to play against. And I believe that knowing that they're going to be down 3-1 in the series going into the game tonight, if they don't win, is like the feeling of having your backs against the wall. So I think they'll come out and be a really detailed team in executing what they need to do. They're up against a great team, though, and they can only take care of the things they can take care of. Go out there and make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Go out there and make sure your attention to detail is there. Outgrind and outwork that team, win the 50-50 puck battles, and see what happens. And you know what? They give themselves a great chance to win a hockey game. This has been a real close series, so it's not like a team is running away with this. It's right there in the balance. They just have to be the team that finds that key play at the key moment.
Louie, we'll see you at the rink, my man. Have a good one.
Take care.
That's Louie DeBrusk from Rogers Sportsnet. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. We are just under 2 hours away from puck drop in Game 4. The Oilers and the Stars. Broberg, McLeod, Perry in Desharnais, Carrick, and Fogle look like they'll be out. Also, Smith coming out and Faxa coming in for Dallas. Come back with 5 questions and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Great savings when you book a weekday tee time. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club for an 18-hole round and get a $10 discount on your next round. Ask for details. Plus, their out-of-bounds restaurant is a must-try. CattailCrossing.ca. Building a new home? You may not need a residential elevator yet. But in the future, a RAM elevator could provide greater accessibility and even make your house more appealing to buyers. So book a consultation with RAM Elevators and Lifts and find out how to strategically place closets to save space that will accommodate the addition of an elevator when you're ready. Plan for the future in your new home with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Learn more online at trustram.com.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small premium roast coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes delivery.
AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for over 25 years, bringing you innovative solutions for unconventional problems. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. When you need to haul the largest machinery on the planet, they can do it with a premium engineered heavy haul trailer made right here in Alberta. They're 100% family owned, treating you like part of the family. Trust the experts at AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
Postseason is always exciting for hockey fans, but for GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community, but they can't do it without the best team possible. GS Construction is scouting for experienced and motivated laborers, pipe layers or pipe layers helpers, lead hands, operators, top men or women, and a water and sewer foreman. Apply today and start working for the 2024 construction season. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Well, it's GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on. Whoa, GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
This spring, the savings continue at the Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as the chance to scratch and save up to an additional 40% off your purchase. Plus, you'll have the chance to win great prizes, including a $10,000 Brick shopping spree. Find amazing deals on kitchen appliances and save up to $400 on sofas, so you can prepare your ultimate game day snacks and then watch the game in style. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Uber Eats is now in your area. We've got it all, from your favorite restaurant dishes to groceries and essentials. And get $0 delivery fee on all your orders. What are you waiting for? Try Uber Eats now. Taxes and fees still apply. See app for details.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup tonight from 6 to 9. Check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out, looked down on. Try your best, try everything you can.
Welcome back. Game day. Gregor, Halley, Declan Kruger along with us, managing things online at Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Of course, listening live on Sports 1440. We're coming to you live in the EWEL studio, ewel.ca, where you can stop in, check it out. It's much easier than ever now for you to purchase all the electrical stuff you need, or if you need help with your projects, they can do that. ewel.ca. Oilers, Stars, pivotal game 4. We saw the Panthers get a big win in overtime last night to even up their series against the New York Rangers, and the Oilers will be looking to do the same thing tonight, and then both conference finals could be best of 3s. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, and if there's 2 things Canadians love, it's a local community and a great deal. Who doesn't love a good deal? Well, right now you can save up to 40% off Canadian-made sofas at The Brick. The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Gregor, question number 1 of the roster moves we think are happening tonight. Are there any you don't agree with?
Yeah, the one I probably would have kept Carrick over Ryan. When I look at the overall face-off percentage in this series, I look at the physicality he's brought. I think he's been better 5-on-5. I get that Ryan's on your penalty kill. I understand all that. But the Oilers aren't taking a lot of penalties. So it's a minor one, but that would be it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too big of an issue with either of them or any of them that we might see tonight. Obviously, interested to see what happens on the PK with Vincent Desharnais not out there, but I think they have the players to adapt. So I don't have too much of an issue with either. Question number 2, prediction time. A score, also expectations for young Philip Broberg.
Well, I always say, hey, you know what? You want Broberg to just play within himself. I don't have high expectations like Broberg's got to come in and be a difference maker for your team, right? You don't want him to be a difference maker negatively. If he does positively, well, that's a bonus. But just, you know what? Use his speed, use his assets. I'm looking forward to having Coach Chalk on coming up at 5:20, 25-ish today. He coached him very well. He saw the progression of what made Broberg very good at the American League level. So obviously he's not going to be on the power play and probably not on the penalty kill here. So it's a little bit different, right? Like, how's he going to fit into the game? Because Desharnais stays in the game because he's on the penalty kill, right? But there's not a lot of penalties, so he should have a decent amount of 5-on-5 time. For me, I want Broberg to use his speed and his heady play, and I think he should be fine.
And a score?
Tonight, I have the Oilers winning with an empty netter. So 4-2. I think it's not an overly high scoring game.
All right. Okay, I'm going to take 4-3 Oilers. And for Broberg, yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see him play his game. I think you'll notice the speed difference between he and Desharnais, obviously, and hopefully some offensive production. I think we're going to see a good Philip Broberg, a guy rise to the occasion in this one. Question number 3. Timberwolves win last night. They stay alive despite now being down 3-1 in their series in NBA history. 156 teams have gone down 3-0. And none have come back to win. 4 have forced a game 7. So the chances aren't good. What do you think are the odds that the the Timberwolves can come back and force a game 7?
0.
Okay, I'm going to give them 2%. Okay. I think there's a gleam. Question number 4. Game 5 of the PWHL Championship. It gets going in about 10 minutes time. Minnesota, Boston. Who do you got?
Well, Minnesota thought they had won. That's a tough one to overcome. So, but you know what? I'll still stick with Minnesota.
I'll stay Boston. Title town. You get another one. And final question for you.
Title town.
Right now, it is
bad,
they've had a good run as of late.
Yeah.
Last couple decades. And right now, it is the 96th annual Scripps National Spelling Bee going on. It started yesterday. I think it goes till Friday. Is there any word that you have a hard time spelling?
Rhythm. All the time. It bugs the hell out of me. It's the worst. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Get the H and the Y mixed up, and then it's annoying. So it's in my head, though, now. Like, I should know how to spell it. But, yeah, rhythm always makes me a bit tight. What? Yeah, that's it for sure. Rhythm.
Yeah, I've had a couple. Restaurant, for whatever reason, got me for a long time. And
Restaurant?
Yeah.
What, did you forget the U?
I'd have to go back and try to spell it right now. Not great radio, but also commissioner.
No, spell restaurant right now.
RESTAURANT.
Yeah, that's right.
So, okay, now I have it.
There you go.
Commissioner, I'm like, is there 2 M's? Is it 2 S's, 2 N's?
Yeah.
That one always gets me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, rhythm. I'd fail it right now. It's brutal. Hate it. Yeah. The spelling bee. I love that spelling bee, man.
Were you in whatever?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
I never did them.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. It would have been fun. I don't see why not. I think it'd be great, but I don't recall there being a lot of those in my time. So
The Duke told me he had one. He was out second round, toboggan. He claims he got the rest of them right, but toboggan knocked him out.
Well, how could he get the rest of right if he's not? Because he was just
he followed along. Yeah,
he followed along. Yeah. Ooh, old Dookie. It's a tough one. I could guarantee you this: the Duke would last longer than Carius in a spelling bee. Guaranteed. Do it. Tell anybody. Do it in the morning show. I'll guarantee it. Eddie Steele can monitor it on Friday.
It'd be a good segment.
It would be. It would be. Yeah, I honestly, I think it would be over quick. Just saying. So there you have it. Coming up, Spec and then Colin Chalk. I'm really looking forward to this interview with Colin Chalk. By the way, today is day 27 for the Black Aces practicing skating. So we'll find out, what's the coach doing to keep it fresh. But then also Philip Broberg. Nobody would have a better front-hand knowledge of his scouting report on Mr. Broberg than his head coach. He will join us in around 25 minutes. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance, driven by people, not products. And just like you, huge Oiler fans, I got the jerseys going at High Street Insurance, and they're hoping for a big win tonight. HighStreetInsurance.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game day down at Rogers Place. Oilers Stars meeting game 4 of their best of 7 right now. The Stars leading 2-1. Puck drop just after 6:30 in that one. Major League Baseball today. The Jays in action, still taking on those Chicago White Sox. First pitch set for 5:40. A couple games going on right now. The Dodgers lead the Mets 9-3 in the 8th. Midway through the second, Red Sox up on the Orioles 1-0 in Athletics race scoreless in the bottom of the first. Still to come today, the Braves host the Nationals. Cubbies in Milwaukee. Twins host the Royals. Guardians take on the Rockies. Angels host the Yankees. Astros meet Seattle. Now gets going at 7:40 in finals earlier today. Tigers win 8-0 in game 1 of their doubleheader. Pirates got the win in game 2, 10-2. You also had the Cards knocking out the Reds 5-3. Rangers over the Diamondbacks 6-1. Phillies dropped the Giants by that same score. And the Marlins beating up on the Padres 9-1. PWHL game 5. Winner takes all game. Boston, Minnesota. That one gets going in about 5 minutes time. And at the Memorial Cup, you got London taking on Saginaw. Winner of this one heads to the final on Sunday. The loser takes on Moose Jaw in the semifinal on Friday evening. Puck drop just after 5:30. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Bakersfield Condors head coach Colin Chalk. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams.
Good in the morning
luck
show,
to
I'll guarantee.
everyone this season
Eddie Steele
and in
can
the
monitor.
year ahead.
Visit Next Gen Transportation.
competitiveness.com.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Your business is unique. It has its own challenges and its own risks. Does your commercial insurance reflect that? At High Street Insurance, we believe in a personalized approach. As an independent broker, we take the time to create a partnership with you. We get to know your business and ensure that your insurance coverage is specifically designed to protect what matters to you. Insurance that's dependable, transparent, and tailored to suit your unique needs. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com.
Hey campers, Brent Fullerton from Carefree RV. It's our favorite time of year and camping season is about to start. We're booking our annual spring service special, which includes a dewinterization and an RV checkup. Let us get you ready for camping the Carefree way. Call or text us at 780-438-2008 or visit us at carefreerv.ca.
As the flowers bloom, don't let sunken concrete dampen your spirits. This spring, Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling is here to lift your spirits and your concrete. With our quick, friendly lifting process, we're ready to tackle those trip hazards and water pooling problems head on with our vast knowledge and expertise. Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling, where your ground gets a new lease on life. Visit trademarkleveling.com or call 780-691-LIFT. That's 780-691-5438.
Ooh, baby, do you know that's what? Ooh, there's a place on earth. They say in heaven, love comes first.
What, did Spec request this song today? I could just see him. Classic, singing along to this one. Welcome back. It is game day. Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Woo! Love the playoffs, baby. Love it. Did you see the desperation last night for the Timberwolves? I would expect something similar tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Everybody knows where they're at in the series. And Dallas knows it, but sometimes it's just hard to match. You can't manufacture that same desperation of a team that's down 2-1 in a series. Doesn't mean you always win. We saw Dallas get by Colorado in Game 4 last series when they were up 2-1. Although the Nichushkin 6 month suspension probably weighed a little bit into that game. No such distraction tonight. Some changes for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll get to all that. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca as we get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. And hey, they're putting the finishing touches on a big 50th anniversary bash coming up. And I just want to thank all their suppliers, everybody who has supported them for the past 50 years to make this a success. It's GS Construction. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Oh, glad to hear Chris Knoblauch listen to you and me and put Corey Perry back in his lineup tonight. Obviously, we have great influence on what happens around here.
Oh, yeah. Well, he didn't listen to you, and he put in Broberg.
Touche.
I have Colin Chalk coming up after you, and I'm very interested to hear his scouting report. Today is day 27, Spec, of the Black Aces being coached by Chalk here in Edmonton. So we'll find out some new drills on what they're learning. But also, Broberg, this is a guy who really I thought flourished when he got some consistent playing time in the American League. And, he'll come in and I know, hey, some guys are, they look at it and say, hey, why would you do it? I understand it, right? The questioning, but hey, they make the decision. What's your expectations on what Broberg can bring maybe that, they felt Desharnais was potentially struggling in?
Well, I think his the pros and cons are fairly clear. Obviously, Desharnais a longer defender. He's going to be a better, more experienced penalty killer. He's meshed in with these guys. He's a big part of an excellent penalty kill. So that's the negative side. The positive part is Broberg skates a lot better. He gets back to pucks quicker. He's a more adept puck mover. I think he has more. He has in his arsenal, and we haven't seen it much at the NHL level. Started to see it last time he came up. If there's nobody open for that outlet pass, he'll put his head down and skate the puck to center. And that's always the safest breakout in the game for me. That's something that I know guys are taught to move it. Sometimes they move it into traffic. So I'll watch for Broberg and see what his confidence level is. It's going to show me how quickly he makes the pass upon retrieval. If he looks up, sees a pass and fires and puts it on your tape, or if there's a challenge and nobody's really open, if he's got the confidence to take that puck and skate it out of the zone. That, to me, is the sign of a confident defenseman.
I look at the other two changes, Perry and McLeod, and I think a lot of us agree, like Ryan McLeod here, hey, this is a guy who's a regular, he's not a 39-year-old player that, hey, got taken out of that game. He got benched in game 7. Like I'm not expecting him to run through a wall. That's not his game, but I'm curious to see if we see him be a little bit more assertive in the offensive zone with the puck on his stick.
Well, for sure. The issue that Ryan McLeod has, Jason, I think we all know this, he plays a perimeter game. He doesn't take the puck to the hard places. And he also is not a guy that, he flies by. He doesn't stop and drill a guy. If he's on the forecheck and there's a hit to be had, he'll often not take it. And those things aren't congruent with playoff hockey, right? The goals are getting harder to get. You got to go inside to find them. And when Henrique scored the other night, I heard it directly from the guy sitting next to me in the press box. Within about 3 seconds, he said, there's a place McLeod normally wouldn't go. And you know what? Like, it might be a narrative, but I watched this kid his whole career. He doesn't go to those hard places. And that's where the goals are in the playoffs. Thus, 0-0-0 across the board for Ryan McLeod. So he's going to have to learn it, Jay. He's going to have, if he's going to be a player in this league, he's going to have to figure out that with a speedy forecheck, it sometimes has to end in a hard body check, particularly in the playoffs. And if you're going to get points in this league, some of them can come off the perimeter, but most of them are going to come from inside. And the sooner he figures it out, the more success he'll have, the more money he'll make.
Yeah, and bigger impact he can have for the Oilers, because obviously that's what they're looking for tonight. What about Corey Perry? Do you see, if it's McLeod, Perry for Fogle and Carrick, do you see, a significant upgrade at all, or is it just kind of moving pieces around and hoping for a different spark?
No, I think Warren Fogel's had his chance to make an impact in these playoffs, hasn't he? Like, he's played all the games, and he's a 0-0. I think he got an assist last game on the Henrique goal, correct?
Yes, he did. That was a good play by him.
He wasn't. He moved the puck
sure.
up.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not sure if he ended up touching it. I know Brown made the pass. I don't know if Fogle was on the.
I think Fogle moved it to Brown. It wasn't a great play. Move the puck to Brown. Whatever. He gets his point. Give him his credit. But my point would be this: I think he's played every playoff game, and I think he has one assist.
Oh, right? No, he's got the empty net goal. But yes, I see your point.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. So my point is this: the guy's played the whole spring, and he's not having a great spring. He's not having the season that he had this year, which was the best season in his career. I'm not seeing it in the playoffs. So I love the size. I love the speed. He doesn't turn down a hit in the forecheck. That's important. He makes sure that speedy, hard forecheck ends in a body check. I like that. But I think if we're on a team here and the theme's starting to become giving guys resets who aren't quite getting it done, I'm not, Warren Fogle is worthy of a reset here. Corey Perry had his. It's time for him to get back in here and give him a chance to be a better player than he was the first 2 rounds. And if it's got to come at someone's expense, I certainly don't think Warren Fogle can tell you he's played his best hockey. It's time for him to have a reset too.
Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. The special teams have been big, even though they haven't been used very much. The Oilers don't have a power play goal in 5 tries. The Stars don't have one in 7 tries. And now they've had more power play opportunity. Minutes is 14 to 8:42. So it's been different in that regard. But so I don't know if like a Desharnais will be missed if they score in the first unit, no question about it. But, this game ultimately is going to come down to 5-on-5 spec. And, I look at the Oilers' second line tonight. Kane, if he scores in game 2, who knows what happens? Because we all know once a guy scores, they get a little bit of confidence. But, Draisaitl's fingers may be a factor, but they need more from that line 5-on-5.
Listen, we're at that point in the season, right? All hands on deck, man. And, I'm never going to criticize Leon Draisaitl for playoff production. You'd be an idiot to do that. But it's a big game, and whatever he's got here, they need it. Kane, it's time, right? No more swings and misses here. If this team's going to advance, the Evander Kanes have to put the red light on, because Evander Kane, he'll throw a hit for you. He's not a great defensive player, right? He's not a great playmaker. His role on this team is to score goals, basically, and make it a little tougher, which he's done, and throw some hits, which he's done. The goals part has to happen tonight here in game 4 against Dallas. I think all these guys, Jay, the power play, don't tell me how great this power play has been for the last 3 years. They need that power play tonight. And if they get 2 chances, one of them's got to go in, because this is a huge advantage for Edmonton. And it's, we're not waiting for anything anymore. If Corey Perry is going to get me a greasy goal, that's basically what you brought him in here for. Get it tonight. It's time, because if some of these guys don't start producing in this series tonight, you go down 3-1, man. You're not beating Dallas 3 games in a row. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I know mathematically it's not a must-win game, but I view it as a must-win game. And Edmonton, the one thing they've done extremely well is they've started well in these games. Like they've taken it to Dallas. Now I don't expect them to take it to them for 60 minutes. I think the teams are both good, but they need another good start tonight. And I just, I'm very curious to see, how they react, and if they can maintain that. If they do allow Dallas to get some momentum, that it's short-lived. It's like, okay, 2, 3, 4 shifts, not 10 or 15.
Yeah, I think if you can do it, you're going to show us that tonight, right? This is your best game, Jay. This is the best you can play. We're going to watch. We will see the Oilers' very best effort against Dallas. And if they can't stem the tide tonight, I'm here to tell you that means they can't stem the tide at all. If they can't get some prolonged offensive, pressure beyond the first period, that means Dallas is just better than them. I'm thinking personally. I watched this Oilers team all year. I've watched them play in these situations a few times now. Game 6 against Vancouver, Game 7 against Vancouver. In the past, I think you'll get an excellent performance from the Oilers, and I think they'll do all these things I'm kind of calling them out for here. But my point is, tonight's tonight. If you don't have it tonight, don't tell me you got it some other time. If you don't have it tonight, you don't have it at all.
Would you alter any matchup tonight if you're Chris Knoblauch?
Draisaitl's health makes me wonder about that. I'd like to know if he's had a quiet 3 games because that's the best he's got, or if we want to challenge Leon Draisaitl, or not challenge, expect the Leon Draisaitl that we all know to show up tonight offensively. Maybe he can't, Jay, right? Maybe he's got a busted finger and he can't shoot a puck. I don't even know here. But other than that, I thought McDavid, they matched up in the first period the way they wanted to go, and McDavid was fantastic. I think they got enough offense. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to get McDavid away from the Tanev pair? Are we trying to get him away from... Sorry?
Yeah, not him get away. Say, which one do I want? right? I don't think it's a fear factor. I think it's a, can I use it to my benefit factor?
Well, I'd rather have McDavid against Tanev than against Heiskanen. I think he's shown in the Calgary series a couple years ago that matchup didn't bother him much. And I thought in the first game when that matchup was prevalent, it didn't bother him much. So if you're asking me to pick a guy, and that's a pretty tough pick, a wicked good defensive player in Tanev against one of the best skaters on a blue line in the NHL in Heiskanen. But I always feel like it's the best skating defenseman that defends McDavid the best. It's the fastest guy, not necessarily the roughest, toughest guy. So if you're asking me to match up, I'll take Tanev on McDavid tonight.
Spec, we'll see you at the rink. Enjoy.
All right, Jake.
There you go. That's Mark Spector and the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, the head coach of the Bakersfield Condors, the gentleman who oversaw the emergence of Philip Broberg this year. What should we expect from the young defender? We'll find out from the coach next on the Jason Gregor Show, live in the UL studios, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50. Get a free $50 wager with a $5 minimum deposit. PlayAlberta.ca.
Catch the Edmonton Stingers basketball home opener on June 2nd at the Edmonton Expo Center. Enjoy affordable family fun with a $5 food and drink menu and free parking. Tickets start at just $20. Visit thestingers.ca/tickets.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Join Kidsport Edmonton's Bids for Kids, presented by GS Construction, June 19th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Bell in Scona. Celebrate 29 years of Kidsport with 90s attire and courage. Tickets are $75, including entry into a mountain getaway draw. Enjoy a night of sports talk, appetizers and bevies, silent auction, 50-50, and a beer tree raffle. All funds raised support local Kidsport Kids registration fees. Visit kidsportbids4kids.com for tickets. Event is 18+.
When it comes to your heavy haul trailers, don't settle for a patch job that will fall apart after a hard day's work. Bring your unit to AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They'll solve the problem once and for all, keeping you working with limited interruptions. For 25 years, their experts have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for mining, oil and gas construction, and renewable industries. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. Learn more at AccuSteel.ca.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today. What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? The Mixed and Mingle League. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club every Thursday as they pair up males and females for a fun and social round of golf. Only $33.30 all season long. Details at cattailcrossing.ca.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Hey, Edmonton, it's your quarterback, McLeod Bethel Thompson. Elks football is back. The home opener, presented by Purelator Tackle Hunger, is Saturday, June 8th versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Grey Cup will be in the house to salute 75 years of EE football. Tickets and more at goelks.com.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of Lower Bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small iced coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes flavored iced coffee and delivery.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
At 25, game day continues on. Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Let's get to our coaching report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long. Legacy Heating. .ca. Our next guest, of course, the head coach of the Bakersfield Condors. He's here in town, day 27 of running the Black Aces, keeping all the young bucks that are around ready just in case. And one of those guys, Philip Broberg, who was with him for the first few weeks, then of course moved on to the main skate with the Oilers for the last bit, and now he will make his 2024 playoff debut. It will be his 11th NHL playoff game. Philip Broberg comes in, and Colin Chalk, who saw a lot of Broberg, he was playing 20 plus minutes, 25 minutes some nights in Bakersfield, joins us now. Colin, how you doing?
Doing really well, Jason. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm good, man. How do you keep it fresh on day 27 with no games?
Yeah, well, one way that we've tried to keep it fresh is every time the Oilers play, just like how you started the intro, was it's game day. So we have our game day. So today the blue team, which what we have left of them is Cam Dineen and Ben Gleason. They beat Raph Lavoie and Lane Peterson 2-1. So the white team had to pick up the pucks today.
All right. Philip Broberg, you kind of oversaw his development this year. He got to play a ton of minutes for 4 consecutive months. And, I talked to Phil about it. He said it was, obviously you don't like going down to the minors, but once he got there after a month, he's like, man, it was really good for me. When you take Philip Broberg, when he first came down, and then you saw him when he went back up in late April there to Edmonton, what was the thing that impressed you most about his game improvement?
What impressed most was just for him he was more confident. And, when he got recalled, I believe it was Arizona, he skated the puck, or he was a little more calmer. Overall, it was just confidence. And confidence comes from, first of all, the player's preparation. But then also, right, the teammates and the coaching staff believing in the individual. But it's a collective shared responsibility, and that I would say that was the biggest thing that I saw.
And Dylan Holloway told us the thing he worked on most was getting better defensively, and I think we've seen that in the postseason. And with that, he's got 3 goals as well. Broberg comes in, Colin. It's a pressure-packed situation, but this is a situation that all these guys want. I don't think there's a fear factor at all here. There might have to be take a few deep breaths and calm down so I don't get too fired up. But, when you look at how this series has gone, it's not an overly physical series. There's lots of skating. Dallas likes that stretch pass. Like, in theory, it looks like this is kind of set for Broberg, a guy who can skate very well, who can move the puck, who's got probably more offense than people think. How do you see him fitting in? And, what's your expectations for him?
I think for sure he's got to get out there and get his feet under him and keep it simple. I think early on, but the expectations is for him to do what he did in the American League, and that's break the puck out really, really well. If there's a scenario where maybe there's an extended D zone coverage shift, and that happens from time to time, to use his legs. And that's one of his best assets is his skating. Is use his legs to calm things down and to skate away from pressure. So, that's what I believe he'll be able to do tonight. I do want to remind myself and everybody else that this is the Western Conference Finals, and it's not training camp or exhibition after he's had a full summer to be ready. But at the same time, it's the National League, and when you get called upon, you have to make the most of your opportunity. So I'm excited for Philip to have that chance tonight.
Like, his personality, kind of what, you expected him not to be maybe overwhelmed by the moment.
No, he's a really, really, I had him as when I was the assistant in Bakersfield. It was his first year in Bakersfield. He was skinny. He was naive. He was wide-eyed. And but what I will say, over the 3 years that I've had opportunity to build relationship with him, he's really, really coachable. And he's also grown to become a really, really solid, genuine young man. And what I mean by that is you can have a conversation with him. You can be critical. He takes it. He tries it right away. And you can be loving with him as well. And I think the best coaches and managers and people in the world understand what that balance is. But I'm excited for him to have this opportunity. He put in a really, really good campaign in Bakersfield. He, aside from his second game when he played back-to-back, he played a lot of minutes. He wasn't great. He had an injury. It took a few games to get up and going. But other than that, he was up over 30 minutes a lot of nights, and he was the best player on the ice for both teams for many of those, 40-plus odd games. So I'm happy for the young man.
Yeah, well, happy, and also I would think, kind of excited, Colin, as the guy who coaches all these guys. This is the goal. You want to see him up there, and you get the luxury to watch the game live, right? Usually when the guys get called up, you're coaching your own team. So this one's a little bit different. You're up watching the game. How different is it? How is it for you watching, a lot of the guys that you've coached? Are you a nervous guy watching upstairs? Like, I'm not sure how many, I know you've been on the bench. Is it a lot easier on the bench than it is upstairs?
Yeah, I tell you, it's I try to look at it, when we're up in the press box area from the coach's perspective, and understand, what those guys are going through, and they're all doing a fantastic job. But I will tell you, it's a lot easier up top, that's for sure. You see things happening and way before. But seeing Dylan Holloway, he came down, he played center. It went okay. He got called back up. He came back. He played wing and center, and then center wasn't going real well. We had a conversation with management. We switched him back to wing, and he was just much more dynamic. He was heavy and hard on the forecheck. He committed to blocking shots, but that didn't happen right away. It took some time, and to be able to see him live and to see him have some success and be playing in a top six role right now, I think it gives you validation for why you do what you do, and I love what I do, and I know that Dylan has worked really hard, as well as the other Oilers coaches and players and Bakersfield staff and players to help those guys get to where they are. But they've also been very mature, and they've done the work to get themselves where they are as well.
Colin Chalk joins us on Sports 1440. Colin, as I want to get some coaching stuff from you. You look at Dallas; they like that stretch pass. They have the weak side winger, and they blow the zone a little bit. What's the best way to defend it and counter it?
Oh boy, it's really, really tough to defend. But in my opinion, there's two ways, and one is the closest player to the puck carrier. You have to stay on the puck, and you got to get your stick on the puck to break up that that stretch pass, right? Instead of just getting above them and skating in the passing lane to try to knock that down. What I like to say is the closest player, doesn't matter who he is, he's on the puck, he stays on the puck, and he gets his stick on the puck to essentially negate or shut down that stretch. The other way is nobody can get behind you. You got to make sure the Dallas players are in front of you, and you do that with simple math. And it's easy. It sounds like it's easy, but things are happening so quickly, and you got to make sure that if you're a D-man or you're a high F3, it's simple math. 4 people in front of you, you know someone's behind you, and that's how quick it has to happen. And I would say those are 2 areas that we talk about to try to be helpful when we're playing against a team like that.
Yeah. Well, it's quick, like it's split-second decisions, right? And you can be looking at the puck as normally you would. Like, not a lot of teams play this formula. So I can see how guys, you're used to being on a forecheck. Maybe you're the third high forward, or you're even the defenseman, and it's that split second. They're behind me, because it's not natural, because most teams don't play it.
No, that's right. And there is some science behind it. Like it happens right away off breakout. So the forecheck can be helpful on that. And then after their post shots, right? So after Edmonton is buzzing around and they're getting some offense, and then it looks like Dallas is in trouble, and then all of a sudden they get it and they punt it, or they high flip it, or they indirect it. And so I wouldn't say there's cheating. There's design and structure within the way Dallas is doing it. It's hard to play against.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just a cheating. They're like, they don't do it every time. They definitely, they have really good timing on when to do it. Like, they know and they trust, okay, this is not going to be a 50-50 puck. We're going to get possession. Boom, I'm going.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think the term they use is push pace, pushing the pace. But like you said, it looks like we're going to get it. We're going to it. And no one is going to be contesting that. It's not a 50-50. Sometimes both wingers are gone. Sometimes just the weak side winger is gone. But there definitely is design and structure to it.
Why do you think more teams don't play it?
Well, there's the risk involved in it. Is that if kind of back to my first point, that if you're staying on pucks, you're really, really staying on pucks, and you keep that ozone play alive, there ends up being a lot of time and space in the offensive zone, and there has been times that Edmonton has had those extended ozone shifts, and then what that does is it forces their stretch guy to come back into the zone. So I think there is some risk reward, and you saw the Oilers be up 2-0, right, with a great first period. So, like every coach, the magic is trying to keep your team going for, I think 60 minutes is an overused term, but you try to control momentum, right? Like the other team is going to get momentum back at some point. It's just, you got to try to minimize that and fight like hell to get momentum back on your side. And really you do that, with having some extended ozone time. And that starts with, blue line decisions, forechecks. And then I get back to having really, really good sticks, deny the stretch pass, have good sticks, and force them to have more of a short share mentality and make some shorter, closer passes.
Colin Chalk joins us, head coach of the Bakersfield Condors, in town, of course, running all the skates, 27 days for the Black Aces. Now, what about, you don't have game nights and, there's not game days, Colin. So what are you doing to keep things fresh? The guys going golfing, you got other things going on to kind of keep this fresh and exciting for guys, because players eventually, hey, the practice is great, but eventually you want to play games. So how do you keep guys excited at this time and still focused?
Yeah, the guys have been really, really great. I think my approach to them is very the communication is very detailed in that you're not getting head coach Colin Chalk now in the last 27 days like we had in Bakersfield, right? It's more of trying to make sure it's fun. So we'll do a lot of skills on the ice, individual skills, to make sure that it's tailored towards their own individual game, not so much of a team game.
Okay.
And then Travis Lay, our strength coach, is really making sure that their focus is on, yes, being ready in case they're called upon, but also making sure that there's heavy lifts and things that are getting them also ready for next season. So, that sell to them that, hey, we're going to make sure that we're going to, treat you almost like an independent contractor and make sure whatever your personal needs are, we're going to help address those, which as a head coach, when you're playing, 3-4 games a week, you really, you don't necessarily have always that time to do that. And then lastly is, the guys that, when the weather's been good, the guys have golfed, they've gone to West Edmonton Mall, gone some go-karting, when the Oilers are playing on the road, they'll always get together. Once in a while, I will join them, they'll and make sure that there's a togetherness, but I will say they're always together on a nightly basis. And I think that that's a really great sign of some of the older players and the leadership from the Condors that are keeping that togetherness even when the Oilers are on the road.
Colin, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you at the rink. Enjoy the game.
Excellent. Thanks, Jason. You as well.
That's Colin Chalk, head coach of the Bakersfield Condors. A really good breakdown on Broberg, but also on the stretch pass. Now, on TV, you don't get to see it as much because of how the camera zooms in all the time. You'll get to see it on replay sometimes, but anybody who, if you get to go to the game, which obviously is hard to do, but if you do, you'll notice it more. They don't do it all the time, but man, as Chalk said, there is a structure and a system to it. It's not just like a jailbreak all the time, but the Oilers, I like what he said, like a lot of the onus on this is as much on the forwards for the Oilers as it is on the defender. If you're that first forechecker, man, you got to get in as quick as you can just to make, because if the stretch forward isn't sure it's going to be for sure puck control, puck possession by their defender, well, then he doesn't break. And then that kind of negates it. So it's a full team effort and a little bit of the cat and mouse game that makes it fun to watch. We'll come back, wrap things up. Well, we're set to go, baby. 1 hour from puck drop. Game 4. Oilers, Stars. As you make your way home, be safe. Don't get a fender bender. Take your time. You got an hour. It's all good. Here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live in the eWell studios.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
When summer brings the heat, McDonald's brings the chill. During summer drink days, enjoy a small iced coffee or a refreshing Coca-Cola for $1 plus tax and step up your summer today. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
This spring, the savings continue at the Brick. Take up to 40% off furniture and mattresses, as well as the chance to scratch and save an additional 40% off your purchase.
His captain is confident.
You'll have the chance to win great prizes.
Now, maybe you're running on the beach. You're finding some stairs. Maybe you're in Horlack. You're running the stairs, getting ready for the game. Oh, thick song. Every montage of Rocky, maybe he's racing Apollo Creed right now. Is he finishing running up the stairs in Philadelphia? Oh, Cons, great choice. Now's the time, man. This is where you need to push past fatigue, push past your limits, outrun Apollo Creed on the beach. Is he training in Russia? I think it was playing when he's training in Russia too, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it in a base? Remember when he's against the heavy bag getting set for Clubber Lang? Oh man, there's so many scenes with that song, Con, man.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, training for Drago is got to be one of the best scenes. Like, if that one doesn't fire you up, something's wrong with you. Check your pulse because you're probably not breathing. But yeah, I think we got to mix that one in there. And if the Rogers DJ wants to throw that in tonight too for the boys, I think it might get everyone going.
Oh, why not? Try it out. Get people fired up. Man, it's the playoffs. You got to have fun. You got to have a laugh. Everybody's going to be fired up. Jerseys galore. Whether you're going to the game or you're going to a watch party outside the game, maybe in your neighborhood, at your local pub, maybe you're at OTR. By the way, get to OTR, be packed. Be a lot of fun. So getting set for it. Should be great. We got a lot of texts flying in, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, how are the Black Aces select to be called up for Manny? Well, they just look at guys in the organization they think are close. Some of the younger guys, Lavoie, Borgo, guys that they think. Now, they can't have everybody here, right? Because keep in mind, they're all getting NHL per diem every day. Right, they're put up in the hotel, so there is some cost to it. I think it's some players that, let's be real, they're not going to have that many injuries, but just on the off chance they're there. For some, they just want them around. They're all in the building to watch every home game. You feel that energy, kind of something to get excited about. So I like it. Hey, Greg, you should have asked Chalk if he ever got his hug from Stortini. You know what, Juice? I might have to ask him that. Right. Two good guys. Storts, good friend of our show. Not surprised he's a coach. He's a really smart player, actually. So, we'll see. It should be good. $5:47. Now we got a few other quick texts coming in. Let's get to this one. Hey, guys, to me, this is a make it or break it, show me game for McLeod. Are you guys believers in that? From Doug, and then also David asked, if he does play his usual fearful style of play, I wouldn't be surprised if he's packaged up and shipped out in the offseason. The only question is who would actually want him. Perhaps somebody that can motivate him to play effectively, from David. Well, I think you also have to understand players are, in essence, who they are. You can alter your game a bit, but Ryan McLeod got to the NHL playing a certain way. Now, sometimes you have to evolve to stay there. That is fair. But I'm like, it'd be really hard to think that Ryan McLeod is suddenly in one off season going to be like, guess what? I'm just going to crash and bang and be super aggressive. It's not his style. Like, he's never played that way his entire life. Right? He just hasn't. So not everybody is a big physical bang. Like, did Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, when was the last time he hit anybody? Like, honestly, that's not his game. Right? Now, he's a more offensive player. So valid. Right? If you're going to play in the bottom six, you probably got to have a little bit more grease. And I think that's fair. But not every player has to be. I don't need Ryan McLeod to be fit. Where I need Ryan McLeod is to go to the dirty areas with the puck. I don't need Ryan McLeod to be running guys through the boards. Honestly, I don't really care about that. Because did you know that before he got scratched in Game 3, he was tied for the most hits on the team with Kane? Now, they weren't, because this is not being a physical series. They need Ryan McLeod to be good defensively, have good sticks, and then in the offensive zone, show a pulse to want to go to the tough areas. That's not being physical. That, to me, is going to the tough areas. And that's what I got. I don't give two bleeps about him being physical and hitting. He has to go to the tough areas. That's what he has to do. And if he doesn't, I think it's fair to say, David, that there'll be questions. Because Ryan McLeod will be an NHLer because of his speed and because of his penalty killing ability. Trust me, he'll always be an NHLer for as long as for probably another decade. I have no doubt about that. But are you going to be on a cup contender team while you do that? Or are you going to be on a team that's on the fringes? It's different. Not everybody can play long-term on Stanley Cup playoff teams. It's just the truth. So we'll see. I thought McLeod responded quite well in game 1 after being benched in game 7. But now he's going to elevate even more. I need to see McLeod get out of his comfort zone. That's probably the best way I would say it. You got to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Get into a scrum, because I know what they've talked to him about. I know that for a fact. They're not asking Ryan McLeod to score a ton of goals, right? You'd like him not to miss over the net high. That would be nice. But they're asking him to use a Todd McClellan term, play inside, guys. That's what they're going to ask. And the easiest way to show it sometimes, just get into a scrum. Just be the first guy in. Oh, yeah, give it back to him. Trust me, Ryan McLeod is a guy who could get a lot of leeways in scrum because he has no reputation of being a rat. He has none. If Ryan McLeod's all of a sudden, the rest going to be like, what's that, 71? Oh, geez, maybe the guy did something to him. He never pushes anybody. Honestly, that's what you're going to think. You're not going to think, trust me, if Evander Kane gets in there and starts pushing guys and strong arm, and the rest can be like, hey, because he's seen it lots. With McLeod, the ref will be like, oh, geez, we might have to check the video here. Did somebody cheap shot him? You know what I mean? He get the benefit of the doubt there. But that's what he'll need. I think you're bang on that. It's an opportunity for Ryan McLeod to respond to his coach and say, Coach, message received. And that's what you want. And then if he doesn't, they got Fogle sitting out. They got Sam Carrick sitting out. They got 2 guys that would easily go back in. Right? So that's the good thing about where the Oilers are at right now. And tonight, I'm excited about this game, man. I want to see what the Oilers are made of. I think this has been a very even series. But they got to find a way to win a game. Do not give the game away. That's the key for the Edmonton Oilers. Enjoy it. Puck drop in around 45 minutes. Let's get to the Conman Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Strawberry lovers rejoice with the triumphant return of the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball. One of your faves. Strawberries, cashews, vanilla, and coconut. All in one tightly packed little ball. Only at Booster Juice. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Edmonton Oilers hosting the Dallas Stars. Game 4 of the Western Conference. Final puck drop around 6:40. Dallas leads that series 2-1. For more Oilers pregame, you can keep it locked on the Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter stream. Pregame with Bordsy rolling on. In the majors tonight, the Blue Jays are in action right now, bottom of the first. They are tied with the White Sox. That one's scoreless. Royals Twins also scoreless, as are the Braves Nationals. The Brewers lead the Cubs 2-0 in the first. Athletics and Rays tied at 1, bottom of the fourth. And in the fifth, the Red Sox trail the Orioles 5-1. Later tonight, Rockies battle the Guardians. The Yankees are in Anaheim, and the Mariners take on the Astros. Finals from earlier today. Tigers blank the Pirates 8-0. Cards double up the Reds 5-3. It was the Rangers over the Diamondbacks 6-1. We had a double header. The Tigers in game 2 falling to the Pirates 10-2. Dodgers beat up on the Mets 10-3. Marlins over the Padres 9-1, and the Phillies get past the Giants 6-1. PWHL game 5 of the championship series. After 20 minutes, that one currently scoreless between Boston and Minnesota. And in the Memorial Cup, London and Saginaw scoreless midway through the first. The winner of this one advancing to Sunday's final. Loser takes on Moose Jaw on Friday in the semi-final. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, we've got Turin Sports, followed by Fox Sports Radio at 9, and then Carius Douglas and former NHLer Laddie Smead back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.